from this theology, but I've just recently learned about black people actually Israelites and everything.
But you're not able to understand that because you're bucking against it.
I hear you, but it doesn't seem like you're paying.
No, you heard God. I'm just a messenger. You heard what God said.
All right. You can also email us at biblicalsmoke@gmail.com for more information.
I'm trying to deal with. I'm trying to build up.
You chose a bum, and now you're saying you're miserable for being with a bum that you chose.
Really hate that we really got on this subject because y'all, you know what, damn, y'all really just, I'm trying to live my life. Now y'all making me being held accountable.
When this life is over and it starts again, I wanna hear, well done, welcome, well done, well done, well done. I look to the hills where my help from. I just wanna hear, welcome, well done. I just wanna hear.
Because most black people, they just want to join Hey, shalom, y'all. Everyone, make sure you share the room. This late night edition of late night edition of Biblical Smoke. Just start sharing the room, and we're gonna get going. We're gonna get going soon. All right. Let's get some time for people to jump in here.
Hey, how you brothers doing?
Hey, shalom, UD. I was going to say the same thing. What's on congratulations, big bro? How you doing, sir?
Hey, Most High Christ bless you all.
I'm over here
Hey, what's going
eating some late night ice cream. You know what I'm saying? It's still early on the West Coast, but it's getting late.
Yes, sir. West Coast, the best coast.
I mean, as long as you admit it, you know what I'm saying, then we'll be good. You know what I'm saying?
Don't tell nobody. Just don't tell nobody.
King, what's happening, man? What's going on at OKC? King, man, you there, man? King, what's happening? You on mute, man. All right, man. Lingo, you good? You ready? Lingo.
Yes, sir. All ready to go.
You coming in low, Lingo?
You coming in low, Lingo. Lingo, man, you might have to log out and log back in, man. I can't hear you, bro. Pentecost, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What's happening, big bro, man? Late night biblical smoke tonight, man. That's how y'all doing it?
No comment.
Got
Is
you.
this a little better?
Lingo, you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of low.
All right, I'm going to come out and come back in.
Yo, so what's up, man? You up doing some late night work projects, man? Go ahead, check it out now,
Yusuf, I think
Lingo. Let's hear it.
it.
Let's hear if you see if you're any better, sir.
Yes, sir. Is it better?
I'm okay. Pentecost, that's okay for you? Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, all praises. Who modding tonight? Is it on you, Pentecost?
Yeah, I'm gonna start off, and then Yusuf's gonna pick up.
Okay, all praises. All praises. All right,
So,
well,
Christian
I'm
man
gonna try to
shooter.
get this thing. What's up, bro?
Yes, sir. Christian man shooter gets more love than Kevin Samuels. I think that topic's gonna touch some nerve tonight. So go ahead and share the room. Share it on your platforms that you use: Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. If people still use that, Instagram. Let everybody know. Yeah, we on late night biblical smoke. And go ahead and raise your hand if you feel like the topic is something that you disagree with, or if you agree, whichever. If you disagree, you agree. Raise your hands and make sure you follow the room. All right, follow the room, biblical smoke. And if you have any questions, you can also email us at biblicalsmoke@gmail.com. It's pinned to the top. PTR if you don't see it. So with this whole
Yeah,
mass
man.
shooting thing,
Go ahead, Pentecostal. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say with this whole mass shooting thing, it's crazy that that's happening because it seemed like a mass shooter and someone who steals, well, supposedly who walks around with Skittles in his hand, the mass shooter is more innocent than somebody who supposedly uses a counterfeit $20 bill. The mass shooter is more innocent.
Hey, Chris, my bad, man.
You good, man. You good, King. You good. You all right, King?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. I'm just the boss. It's the boss, man. He was getting on me, right?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. But
Hey,
yeah,
what's
man.
going on, Jay? Welcome on stage.
Hey, what's
What's
going
going
on? What's
on?
going on? Hey,
I
man.
agree with you guys, man. I just
Hey,
want a race war to start.
I don't understand why our people not upset. You know, they're upset. They're not upset about this man killing all these their own people, but they have been rejoiced that Kevin Samuels died. You know, they was in the uproar about that, you know, all happy and glad and cheering. But here it is, this man hate black folks, went and killed black folks, and nobody saying nothing. Where's the noise at?
Right, exactly. What's the noise? Jay, what do you think? What's the noise at?
Now, I was saying I agree with you guys. I'm just disappointed at black people because, after this happened, black people still calling for unity and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, when is a race war gonna start? Because like this man pull up and just kill black people, and black people still calling for unity and stuff like that. So that's the weird part about it.
You see the question that you asked. When is this race war going to start?
Yeah, because most black people, all they want is unity. So I'm like, bro, like if there's unity, you know, because like there's worse war already, but it's not big as it is because most black people they just want to join to the white man. So
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. The war against us has been started long ago. Long ago, it's been declared, and the crazy part about it is that we don't even notice it. So that's why the topic about Kevin Samuel's death, that's that's the results of the war against us. How our sisters will rejoice over his death and not rejoice. I mean, and not say anything about a mass shooting of our own people, because that's their mind being destroyed by the war that we're in.
facts.
So when you first heard the news, did you see what happened? Like how you found out?
Well, I saw on the news on YouTube and stuff like that. I didn't know if it was black. I didn't know if it was like a white person attacking black people. So I thought it was just some a white person just doing white people stuff and stuff like that. So I didn't know if it was black people targeting and stuff like that. So
Yeah, they say he went to a predominantly black neighborhood And that was his mission. And his manifesto that he wrote is basically he's tired of us. He's tired of our people. And the media is already gonna try to spin it, of course. I won't be surprised if they say he has some mental issues because he's so young. Whatever.
No, they're already saying it. They're already saying it.
Oh, they're already saying it, of course.
Yeah, hey, Pentecost, yeah, that's what they saying. They saying the mind of an 18-year-old man is not fully developed, so he might have some mental instabilities.
So what's wrong with the 13 years old and 15 years old and 16 year old that killing each other in the neighborhood? What's wrong with them? They don't have mental issues either.
Nah, they call them super predators, bro. Come on, man.
Oh,
You know
okay,
that.
okay, oh,
Black
okay,
people,
okay.
them super predators.
All right, I got you. I got you.
Exactly. Damon, welcome on stage. What do you think? What's going on? Why are people showing more love to a mass shooter than Kevin Samuels? Because I haven't seen or read anything of people saying, "Oh man, this mass shooter is racist, blase blase." But the moment Kevin Samuels' death happened, a lot of sent men and women that got the truth, the reality brought to them. They all kept talking, complaining after his death.
Hold on, Damon. Before you answer, man, I just want to go back to something you just said, Pentecost, because you said it twice now. You saying that the black woman was celebrating a black man's death, and then the mass shooter, this Peyton guy, whatever his name is, Peyton somebody, is killing black people. So you saying that the black woman is in alignment with the white man killing black people,
Yep.
That's what you're saying?
Yep.
Dang, Jay. So how we gonna win a race war if the black woman is on the side of the white man? How we gonna win?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Man, I hope we can get some sisters in the room to identify why they are siding with the killing of black men. Please, can I get some sisters on stage to tell me why that is?
That's a wild ideology to come on stage with, dear brother. I don't know if I fully agree with that at all. If the question is why are black women frustrated with the black man who to some spoke truth to them, but to others was misogynist, used misogynoir and blah 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 blah. Like, black women have the right to feel whatever black women feel. I think to correlate black women's sentiment to a figurehead that perpetuated certain ideas and old tropes of black women to a white supremacist who went to the hood intentionally to kill black people, I think is I honestly, I don't have an eloquent way to say it. It's probably one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in a very long time. And so, how do I feel about what's happening in the media right now around this killer? I think that, having these conversations is dope, but I like to talk about things that actually manifest into the real world, like building new infrastructure, communications infrastructure that can combat the 4chan, the 8chan spaces. I think it's really important to understand how COINTELPRO is still something that exists. I think a topic in this room that will probably set fire to the room is a Black Lives Matter conversation. But we don't have to get too deep into that. I'm just saying that, there's a lot of different mechanisms that are used to cause dissension in our communities. But when we look at people like Steve Bannon, I was in another room and I said this, but when we look at people like Steve Bannon, the white brother who created Breitbart as a blog, and then it turned into a media company, and then they rebranded neo-Nazis to actually become the alt-right, and was able to become basically the top dog, the right-hand man to Trump, and help get Trump into office. You really are able to look at the systems that they use to attain power, but we often talk in conjecture and philosophize and, oh, but what if niggas just stand up? Excuse me, for saying the N-word that's not accepted in this room, but what if we just stand up? What if we can just stand up?
Niggas.
Yeah, but what if we can just stand up, you know what I'm saying, and do some shit? At this point, it's too many. It's too many examples, too many tools, and too much resource around us to be still talking theoretically. So that's my take on it. I think black women can feel whatever the fuck they want to feel.
All right, so yeah, you said a whole lot. You said a whole lot, right? But it's a Christian mass shooter gets more love than Kevin Samuels. Do you believe that's true, or do you believe that's false?
In the context of black women, I think that's false. I think if the Christian mass shooter gets a burger like Dylan Roof, systemically, yeah, of course, the system is going to support its own. Like a white supremacist system is going to support its white supremacist children. But what I want to understand more of the context of the question that you're asking.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look even at your boy. What's his name? In Atlanta, that pastor. They doing whole sermons on Kevin Samuels. I heard nothing concerning what this man did to the black community. There was no sermons on that today. But it was black pastors. I saw a black pastor on CNN today saying that the Caucasian pastors were supposed to be doing a sermon on it. But did he go out his way to say, hey, this is who we are. This is who God said we are. This is why we're going through these things that we're going through. Matter of fact, let's get that scripture right quick. Can I get a scripture? We're going to get a scripture for you right quick, Damien. Give me Deuteronomy 28 real quick. Deuteronomy 28. And let's get 48 real quick. This is biblical smoke, so we're going to use the Bible a little bit. All right, Danny?
Sounds dope.
Yes, sir.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse
So
48.
when you look at, hold on real quick. When you look at Deuteronomy 28, Damon, I encourage you to go read the whole chapter yourself, right? These are the curses that affect the black man, the black woman today, right? The Hispanic man, the Hispanic woman today. These things written right here are the identification markers of who we are today, right? Read that scripture though.
Yes, sir. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
So these things happen to us today, right? We serve for food, water, and clothes, right? That's what we do as a people. And again, we might have jobs today, but those jobs we go out and work, we still end up paying all our bills back to the people that hired us, back to the people that gave us the money. We got to end up giving it right back to them. Go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
Come on with the next verse.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
So the nation that came against us and the nation that is against us today still represents itself with the eagle, right? The Caucasian race in this country of the United States of America still represents itself with the eagle. Go ahead.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Mm-hmm.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
So this man, right, whatever his guy's name, and I keep forgetting what his name is, but he wrote a whole manifesto about how blacks were the intruders that was here to take his country, and he wanted to stand up for Europeans and show them the way in order to get these intruders out of his land. You know what I'm saying? This is biblical, right? The Bible says that these people, this nation of people, don't care how old or how young you are. If they consider you an intruder in their country, they think it's okay to kill you. You know what I'm saying? So that these things are not being discussed in the church, but yet they go in the church and talk about how Kevin Samuels was a what they call him a less thing. I'm trying to think of the term they use, but a low value man, making mockery of the work that he was doing to try to get our sisters to change in the community today. So with that, I'm leaving my mic.
Right. David, you want to respond to that, or Jay? And what did you boycott today? We'll get to you after. I mean, who did you boycott today?
I'm not sure if I understand if there was a question posed or.
No, I was saying if you want to respond to that, Damon, and then after you, we'll go to who did you boycott today. That's the name of his profile.
No, I don't have a response at this moment, unless there's a question.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt. Who did you boycott today? Go ahead, unmute your mic.
Oh, thank you for the
And
invite to the stage. I'm a woman. I'm 60 years old, and I'm up tonight. And most times I am up late at night, sometimes because of my sleep problem. I don't sleep like a normal person. I found out a couple of months ago that I suffer from fibromyalgia since 2012. I'm in pain 24 hours a day. I've been in a couple of rooms today. Oh yeah, the title. The title. Um, Let me look at it again so I make sure I get it right. You know, I'm kind of old here, so bear with me. Christians, mass shooting gets more love than Kevin Samuel. I seen the rooms in the hallway for a couple of days about Kevin Samuel. I happened to be on my YouTube channel and I came across one of his videos. I landed on it for 5 minutes and I clicked away. I don't have the capacity to listen to anyone that I cannot connect with. I'm just going to put it like that. I don't have any ill feelings towards him. I'm not going to say anything negative out my mouth about Kevin Samuel because I don't know the man. May he rest in peace. That's what I can say for that. He's my brother, and if he has passed away, then I send blessings to his family and his loved ones. If you cannot come out your mouth and say something respectful about a person, just bite your tongue. But I'm not here to preach to anyone. I was recommended to this room by a person who I connected on Clubhouse. We were in a room together and we were voicing our faith, and he got a lot of pushback. And I wanted to make sure I came off the mic to let those persons in that room recognize that this man have a right to make his stand about how he feel about his faith. I live by my faith. I don't go to church. I watch my mother read the Bible and preach to her 7 kids all my life. She went to church sometime. But that's the example that I grew up with. That's the foundation that I have. It took me a while to reach a point where 2014 was a changing time in my life when I really recognized that I needed to start reading the Lord's word and trying to build that relationship. So I did. But I really want to get to the heart of the matter of what the
Yeah.
gentleman who
We
just
paying
read the
attention,
verse
sis.
say what?
Yes, ma'am. We listening. We want you to kind of get to the point, though. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got you. Yeah, the brother just read the verse from the Bible, and we're in the midst of this conversation about mass shootings. We are exposed to. We are conscious
you
enough
kind
to
of,
be thinking clearer. But the brother read the verse in the Bible and reckon with the fact that they are paying for these people to keep killing us off and picking us off one at a time are in masses because you worship the almighty dollar. And until you can reckon with that inside and stop paying for your oppression, we can keep on watching this on the news media because I don't watch cable. I canceled mine so long ago I can't remember. I started boycotting this sorry country in 2020. I refuse to pay my nickels and dimes to pay for my own oppression and my own. Clear to us. If you got melanated skin or you identify as black or African American, the 13th Amendment tells you that you are 3/5 of a human being. What else do they need to do to wake you up to the fact that they don't recognize you as a human being? Why do you want to keep on paying for your oppression? Sit down and make you a checklist of things you're going to cut out your life that you don't need absolutely live off. If you don't need it to live, don't buy it. Don't make them hurt. They'll change their tune in when you them feel some pain in their pockets the same way the NBA and the WNBA did for 2 days. They were like aliens when they came before that mic. It shook the whole world. So when our
Okay,
people get tired of getting killed and mistreated and hit these human beings in their pockets, you're gonna see another day. You're gonna see a day. So if you want to keep on paying for your oppression, go right ahead. I'm not gonna let them get my money. I'm boycotting them until I die.
we got a question. I got a question for you. Right?
Same here.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Uzziah.
I kind of want to maybe some of us that checked in didn't hear what Pentecost stated earlier. We are at war, and to go back to the topic is just think about it like this: you are at war, right? And you can get your enemy to fight the war for you. That's the position that we're in now. We're at war, and the people that's on our side is fighting for the enemy against us. So now the enemy is just sitting back and watching us fight one another, kill one another, to the point. It's Kevin Samuel, right? For example, Kevin Samuel, he didn't do nothing wrong against the so-called black community. He was telling men, hey, get yourself together, get you a job, build yourself up to where you can raise a family. And a lot of black women, when he started telling black women, hey, the black man is getting themselves together, you need to get yourself together. That's where he got a lot of pushback. And now the thing is, the same pushback that he got from the black women, we're not seeing that for the murderer that murdered, what was it, like 10? The
10
murderer
black
that
people,
murdered
yeah.
like 10 black people, cold-blooded. We're not seeing that same pushback from those black women. Like, where is the black women's voice that had that same energy for Kevin Samuel when he passed away? That's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. Like, wait a minute. If this thing with Kevin Samuel, a lot of people didn't know who Kevin Samuel was until he died, and the black women was celebrating it, and people started looking into who Kevin Samuel was. Now, the so-called white man that murdered 10 black people, where are those same black women's voice? If they're not raising their voice against that white man that murdered 10 black people, why are their voice so loud against a man that was telling them to get themselves together to be prepared for marriage for a black man? That's where my question in my mind is at.
So what you saying, Uziel, is where's that energy at that they had towards Kevin Samuel? Where that energy at towards what just happened to these people?
Correct.
What you think about that? Who did you boycott today? What you think about that? Where's that same energy?
I didn't have any energy for Kevin Samuel. I didn't go into any of those room spaces. I wouldn't even entertain it. I didn't know the brother, like I stated earlier.
Yeah.
I don't have any disrespect for him whatsoever.
I'm with you.
May he rest in peace. If I had watched enough of his videos on YouTube, I maybe can contribute to that conversation. But
okay,
as far as from what y'all sharing with me, I can respect what you're stating about the brother. You understand. You knew about him. You knew the person who you are talking about. I didn't know him. I clicked on one of his videos maybe months and months and months and months ago, and I did not click on another one because I don't like. I'm in a space where I don't want to hear anything negative that men are saying about women or women saying about men. I'm just not going to listen to that conversation.
I got you.
Exit from that.
I got you.
I like that. Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, what you said, sis, I like that. And what Uziel brought out as well. It's a shame that Kevin Samuel did not murder any sister. And then it also, because you said any negative thing, but you got to understand, I'm quite sure you've been around long as me, and you experience more in the world than I have. Even the culture change as far as our nation as a people. You've
Bear
seen
with me.
different things change. From 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 saying maybe the Panthers and seeing those type of movements or whatever, right? But now anything could be deemed as negative. If I tell a sister now to cover their breasts up, if I tell 10 sisters that standing in the circle, I say, sister, you know what? Y'all would look more, you would look, not saying you ugly now, but you would look more pretty and more valuable if you cover your breasts up. They would take that negative and cuss me the hell out. So you got to, see what negative is now is not really negative. It's just the truth. And then the truth is being evil spoken of. That's why it was a celebration when that man died. It's a celebration, like another black man. How can they say Black Lives Matter when one black man died? It's a damn party. It's a celebration. It's pastors doing sermons on him, brother. When a brother just was trying to uplift his people and be real with his people to better his people. His whole overall method was to better us as a nation because he got on the men, he got on the brothers for years. 2-3 years he got on the brothers, no complaints. Then he got on the sisters. Then everything. Oh, he's a bad person. He got negative energy. No, he just being blunt. Like he was being blunt with the brothers. He was being blunt towards the sisters. So anything today that seems negative is not negative. It's just the majority of the people gang on you, and then they got the media or they got things backing them, and everybody fall with that hype. One scripture now pass it. Get on Galatians 4:16. Galatians 4:16. We got to
Hey,
understand now what we up against. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
hey, Delta, I don't want to take you off your point, bro, but what you're saying is that the sisters or the women are more sensitive to criticism than men are. Instead of men hearing the criticism and saying, you know what, I can take that and get better, the sisters hear it and get mad. How dare you criticize me?
That's it right there. Or it becomes negative because you just trying to tell them something to better not only themselves but us as an overall nation. I don't think we look at each other as a nation anymore. And those that have nation-minded views, when you do go try to tell somebody that don't have those same views, it becomes a personal attack, or they look at it as it's negative. So now watch this. Read Galatians 4:16.
Galatians chapter 4 and verse 16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
So there we go, right there. We see that thing in HD. Now we ain't saying that we don't agree with. I don't agree with every single thing that the brother said, because some of the stuff is not Bible based. But I can see and respect him because I can see where he was coming from. No different from like Malcolm X. They had different philosophies, but guess what? His overall goal was what? To liberate black people, to get us to see each other, and get each other better as a nation. Martin Luther King, his method was totally different from Malcolm X. But guess what? We got to respect both of them because why? They put their lives on the line for trying to better our people as a nation. Black Panthers, we got to give it up for them. Why? Because they put their lives on the line for trying to better our people. When Kevin Samuel did it his way or his method, just being real and being straight to the point on correcting sisters, it was murder to the sisters. But it's a shame now that a white boy can come murder us down. And like Chris was bringing out, we see no voices from these same sisters. Or they don't bring that same energy that they had when they see their own black brother. I mute my mic.
And one thing is
Amen. Thank you, brother.
Shahrazad. Hold
Thank
on,
you.
hold on. I think that's how you say her name, Shahrazad Ali. She wrote a book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, and she got a lot of backlash from black women from back then. It is the same thing today. The problem is, like Uziel said, when we get corrected, we take it, we fix it, and we move on. We improve ourselves from the correction. Kevin Samuels, all he did was correct the black woman, which he did his first 3 years correcting the black men. The problem is our sisters do not want to be corrected. They want to be living their life, doing whatever they please. That's why when Monique corrected them about the bonnet, they took off on her, almost chopped her head off. Tishana Arnold said the same thing. What must we do to help uplift the black boys, black men? She caught hell. This is the problem. Our sisters got on were rejoicing over Kevin Samuel's death because they no longer had to hear the truth. Our people hate hearing truth. So I see we have Sebastian on stage and Craig and Jarnera and Andy, Rosanna, Sorla. Welcome on stage. Sorla, what do you think about the topic?
Hi, good night, good morning.
Good night, good morning, and welcome, E. I see we have E on stage. Welcome.
Thank you. About the topic, I feel like it's a trend. There's always a trend. Like last week, we were worried about Will Smith slapping someone on the stage. And meanwhile, we had bombs going off in Ukraine and the gas was going up and all this stuff. And now this week, people are talking about Kevin Samuels, but in the background, we have a horrible mass shooting. I think it's really the Most High is just showing his signs. With the shooters, he's basically showing us that who the enemy is, that we're not supposed to be at ease here. It's still a very dangerous time, and we need to wake up and come together with unity with each other. With Kevin Samuels, I didn't watch his videos. I only started to catch clips since he passed away. He did a good job with holding people accountable, but his actions to me didn't really seem sincere because it's okay to criticize people. That's fine when they're doing something wrong, but then to sit down with people like Future and these celebrities like Nicki Minaj and all these people, it doesn't really make sense to me. So he was just a YouTube celebrity to me. But I don't see why you would celebrate him dying. That's weird to me too. That's just what I think.
Well, one of the reasons they're celebrating his oh, E, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Kevin Samuels.
E, you sound very low.
Hold on a second. Let me try my second. How I sound now?
Yeah, you still sound low.
Hello?
Real low, sir.
Hear me? Low? Oh shit.
Yeah, try leaving the room and coming back in, see if that will help. I don't know. Okay, he's back. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, cool. I had to switch up my headset. Okay, yeah. Regarding Kevin Samuels, he was an image consultant. He wasn't a counselor. He wasn't a psychiatrist. He wasn't a professional, and he would make that. He made that disclaimer very clear. So him being an image consultant and him giving commentary on sisters, he gained a lot of fame. So a lot of these artists invited him into their videos. He basically played an image consultant or pretty much like a counselor in the Future video. Nicki Minaj, she also called also all these women that he spoke to, regardless of it being harsh or came off as mean, they were calling him for advice. It wasn't like he was doing prank calls and saying, "You black bitch," and hit the phone real fast. It wasn't crank callers. They were calling the show, asking for commentary. He said, "Those of you who are detractors and who are against me, call the show. Bring the smoke. Bring your argument." And they couldn't bring any arguments. He would dissect them and embarrass them because he would basically make their truths to be delusional. A lot of sisters in the world are delusional. They live delusions of grandeur. Now, just to take away from Kevin Samuels, this mass shooter guy, he's one of many. He said that he does not pretty much he doesn't believe in the afterlife. He said that he believes that he does believe in certain Christian values. So he was a Christian, just not a full-fledged one like most black folks are full-fledged Christians. They say they are. So his manifesto basically was he wants to get rid of the replacers. He calls blacks
Hispanics, and he calls us like high fertility rate people, people of high fertility rate, or he called us replacers. That's what he called us. And the reason why he calls us that is because the same spirit that's in him was in his forefather back then. Give me Genesis real quick. I want 27 verse 36. Now, there was a man named Abraham. Some of you may know who that is. And there was a man, he had a son named Isaac, and Isaac had twin boys named Jacob and Esau. Esau was the eldest, and Jacob was the youngest. So Esau, by default, being the eldest, he gets the blessing. But he ended up selling it away. So what I want is Genesis 27, hold on, 34, 37.
Genesis chapter 27 and verse 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his...
Because the Lord had told Rebekah to do this. The Lord moved the spirit of his mother because the Lord knew that Isaac favored Esau. So the Lord told Rebekah to pretty much disguise Jacob as Esau to get the blessing, because the blessing wasn't really meant for Esau. And Esau being born first was symbolic to something later on in the future regarding the last days. So that's why it had to be done this way. So Esau finds out that he was pretty much, his blessing was given away to his brother Jacob. Read on.
And said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father.
He said, bless me, even me also, because the father's job is to bless the children. He said, Father, you bless Jacob, bless me also. He's crying. He said, bless me too. Read on. Watch this.
And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing.
Yeah.
And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times.
Now, the first time he's lying, because the first time he gave it on his own. But this time he was supplanted. Now, look at the definition of supplant means. The definition of supplant. Because this white dude, in his manifesto, he called black people replacers. You guys are replacers. You're coming into the country. You're high fertility rates, and you're outnumbering us. And the only way we can do that is if you guys, the safest place you guys can be, he said, is where you belong, back where you came from, back in Africa. Go back there. Chinese should go back to China. You know, the so-called Jews should stay in their land, whatever. So-called. All in his manifesto. So read what supplant means.
Definition of supplant: supersede and replace.
I don't think. Oh, hello, hi.
Read that. Hold on a second, sis. Read that. Read supplant real quick.
Definition of supplant: supersede and replace.
See that? Supersede and replace. So this dude called black people, who he killed mostly in that store, he called us replacers or supplanters, because Jacob was a replacement of Esau. He was replaced by Esau. Okay? Because the Lord chose Jacob and not him, even though he was the firstborn. So go back to Genesis again. So watch this. I'm going to show you what his gift was. This guy, this young boy, was not military. He was not trained. He just went and started practicing with guns. He was a gun fanatic. So watch this. Read. Watch this.
Genesis chapter 20. Genesis chapter 27 and verse 36. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? Isaac answered,
he said, have you not a blessing for me, Father? You took my birthright. That was a lie. He sold his birthright. But his blessing, that was taken. So he's saying, you bless him too. He got the birthright and the blessing. Can you bless me, at least bless me too, Father? Watch what his father says about him. What Esau. Watch this.
And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father.
So he said, listen, I'm sorry to inform you, man, but Jacob is going to be your Lord now. He's going to rule over you. It is what it is. But he says, please, Father, bless me. So watch what the Father bless him with. Watch this.
And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the
You're gonna have the
earth,
best part.
and of the dew.
You have the best parts of the world. You're gonna take over the best parts of the world, the fatness of the earth, I mean the riches, the oil, the gold, the silver. You're gonna have all of that in your possession. But watch how he gets it. Read
And of the dew of heaven from above.
everywhere. You'll be
And by
everywhere.
thy
It'll be everywhere. Watch this.
sword shalt thou live,
And by the sword shall you live. I mean, you're gonna be expert in war. You're gonna be the best military. You're gonna be the best. Guns, swords, the conquistadors, the pilgrims. Same thing. British troop, the cavalry troop. That's them. Read.
and shalt serve thy brother.
And
And
shall
it shall
serve your
come to
brother, meaning in the last, meaning when Israel gets the kingdom, you're going to serve your brother. But he shall take over and rule by the sword, the gun, the nuke. That's this man. This man has been given the blessing of God to be basically to wreak havoc on the world with warfare, with guns and nukes. So this is his position. But this young man, who is Esau? This is his descendant. Esau, he's the Edomites. He called us black people replacers, just like his forefather Esau called his own brother Jacob, who's our forefather, a supplanter. It's the same spirit in them. Give me Ezekiel one more about perpetual hatred. Get that, please. And I'll play my plane. So this hatred, it runs in them. It runs in them. It's in their spirit. It's in their genes. Always been there. They've always hated us. Always. Now, some of y'all say, well, not all of them. The reason why the Most High had it that way is because if he had it where he let them have their true nature, they would have killed us off the damn planet if they had the power to. Read that, please.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of
That's
Israel
what he did. That's
by
what
the
he
force of...
did in that store. You saw that there's a video where he walks into the store. He has a camera on him. He's shooting up all the black folks. Then he comes across a white dude. He goes, no. He goes, sorry, and goes bypasses the white dude. Yo, you can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make it up. So that perpetual hatred has always been there in them. Always. It's passing to their children. The Jank Hoover, if we had any kids, the hatred are passing to them too. Read on. Is that on that verse?
and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
Right. So this man is going to continue to do this stuff, man. I heard recently, it happened again recently. Another shooting again. It's going to happen more and more, especially when that famine pop up. When that famine come through here, get around summertime, and you start seeing your shelves empty, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to start killing a lot of us. So all you sisters running around bragging about, laughing and rejoicing over Kevin Samuels dying and all that, you better pray to God the Lord puts a spirit on brothers to defend your ass, because these white boys come with these guns, they're going to kill you sisters just the same, because they're replacers. They're gonna kill you just the same. It don't make a difference if you're a woman or not. They're gonna blow a hole in your ass. So you better look to your men. I'm telling you while there's still time. Land my plane.
Well said. Well said. I see Rosanna. You wanted to say something. It's your turn. You're up next, Rosanna.
Oh, hi. So I just wanted to talk about Kevin Samuels because I have been listening to him since the beginning of the pandemic, and I watched his following grow. And I think it is sad that he doesn't get a lot of love. And I wanted to chime in earlier about where are the Black sisters' voices against the shooter when they were so happily celebrating Kevin Samuels' death. And I think he says a lot of truth. And honestly, I don't think, like, when I heard that he died, I thought that the first thought that came to my mind was that someone had killed him, because his death seems so strange and he was getting very powerful. And to me, I don't see him as only a YouTube celebrity. I saw him as beginning to start a movement, because he was just so spot on for what I thought. He had a really good intuition and instinct. Like when he was listening to people and talking to them, he would be really quick to point out exactly what's wrong or what they needed to do to help improve their lives. So that's what I thought, and I thought, well, I'm kind of nervous, but I was listening to Thomas Sowell. I know he can be controversial in some circles, but he's like an intellectual that always speaks on the Black community and the need to change culture. And how I saw it was like Thomas Sowell has like the blueprint for what needs to be done in the Black community to help lift everyone. And
Right.
Kevin Samuels is kind of like a soldier in, he's a soldier fighting
Yeah.
with people, talking to the women, and he's actually making the change. And he's patient and he listens to people, or he's patient, but he's also kind of like a Zen master. He's kind of ruthless in a way too. So I have a lot of respect for him, and I'm so sad that he's gone.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing. It's like he was growing a lot. He was growing a lot. So I know that caught people by surprise. But for somebody to have 1 million followers, it cannot be 1 million haters, and that's the biggest problem. Is that a lot of our sisters, they're not like the fact that 1 million people agree with his views. That is real. That he was just sharing that we see worldwide. We see it. It's reality that we need. Our sisters need to get married and stuff. Let's see what Andy has to say. Andy Brennan.
Hey, good afternoon. Good evening, my brother. How's everybody doing? I'm honestly more or less just listening more than anything else. When I think about Kevin Samuels, it's unfortunate. I think that as a Black man, I don't necessarily agree with his execution, but I agree with what a lot of people have said on the stage that I've heard so far. Kevin Samuels, I believe his objective was to right the wrong, or help people recognize that the direction that you're going, especially a lot of women, the direction that you're going is crazy. And encouraging them, again, I didn't care for his execution, but encouraging them to respect themselves. I think today that is a huge challenge that a lot of women have difficulty respecting themselves. At the
Now,
same instant,
I have a question for you. You
go
said
ahead.
you didn't like his execution.
The way that Kevin Samuels, the way his delivery, how he came off, I like the fact that he was brusque. But when I've heard him, I can't say I didn't listen to him frequently, but the times that I heard him, the way he came off, the way he sort of addressed some of the people that called in, it was a little abrasive at times. I do not, though, dispute his objective. The challenge that I have, though, it's not Kevin Samuels that I have a challenge with. The challenge I have is the fact that you have another mass shooter that has selectively gone into an area and taken out a number of our people. This is going on and on and on. And Kevin Samuels, again, I mean, he was a human being, so I don't knock. I can't. I mean, what happened to him was unfortunate. Any human being that dies, especially in those circumstances, he was just popular, but he was another human being, and I grieve his death. But the fact that another white guy can go into a community and have this happen, and it's happening over and over and over again. And I've gone into these rooms and I've listened to the discussions, and I respect the platforms. But I guess my big question is, what now? White people do not, and I understand, I don't hate white people, but white people will not, many of them will not understand the challenge that we have. They won't see things from the perspective that we see things until they're able to walk in our shoes. I joke with some people, and I ask them, I joke with our people, I ask them, what do you care about the people in Somalia? And they look at me crazy. They look at me crazy because we're not Somalian, by and large, in this country. We're not Somalian. Well, with the Black issue, with the shootings, whether it's a cop or this mass shooter, you know, a lot of other people don't respect it or can't appreciate it because this is not their experience. And it's us somehow helping them to appreciate that, helping them to understand what we're going through. It's about communication. Like I said, Kevin Samuels to me is I mean, again, no disrespect to his death or even the issue, you know, trying to compare the two, but Kevin Samuels is a distraction. That's all. He's a distraction from the real issue. You know, and go ahead. What were you going to ask me?
I was going to say, you did say there's a few things that you said. I want to see if any of the moderators want to deal with anything. Uzia, Chris.
Yeah. No, Kevin Samuels, I won't say he was a distraction because you gotta understand, yes, this mass shooting was terrible and this isn't the first time it's happened. But what I've learned is that our people are very much divided. And Kevin Samuels was focusing on that. It kind of goes together because the fact that because these nations, even Rosanna, who's from what I see, she's not of our nation, but but she sees other nations see the division amongst us between our men and women, and so when nations see people who are divided amongst themselves, that makes us easy pickings because now your women don't respect you and you die. They don't. They say you ain't sh, you ain't nothing, you're nothing. So it's not really a problem for them to just walk into a black neighborhood and just kill us because black folks kill each other anyway. That's their thought. You kill each other anyway. You abort all your babies. You fight each other. You belittle each other. You laugh at each other's deaths. So killing you ain't really a problem. So I don't think Kevin Samuels was a distraction. I think Kevin Samuels was touching on a major issue that these nations, particularly Europeans, actually exploit and use to their advantage, and which gives them the reason or the boldness to be able to walk into a community and do what they do. That's why you said, what now? Give me Zephaniah 2:1. This is what has to be done. Now, I don't have any personal hatred towards any race of people, particularly white folks, but I don't have any love for them either. I don't hate them, but I don't like them either. And I am entitled to that because when you examine the history of this man, every nation that he's encountered has called him some kind of a devil, whether it be the Arabs, whether it be the Native Americans, whether it be blacks, because this man comes to land, he steals, he robs them of his resources, he kills the people, he kills the leaders and puts his own leaders in there, and he does all kind of evil. He pollutes the water, he pollutes the air, he creates these nukes. This man is a walking time bomb, and that's why the Bible makes it clear, scripturally speaking, at some point in time, every empire has to fall. As they say in expression, every dog has his day. But before that happens, this was happened first. Zephaniah 2:1.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Right. So he said, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. As I was saying before, we are people that's divided. We are people that's not desired. We're redlined. We're told to move over there. We don't want you over here, things of that nature. So we're not desired. We understood that during Black Wall Street. We understood that during Black Bottom Detroit. I even have in my house this thing called the Little Green Book. And the Little Green Book was a little notebook that Black folks put together for other Black folks to have to know which towns to drive into are Black owned and to be safe, and which towns to avoid. It's called the Green Book. That's when we were more. We knew at that time we were not desired. So when Israel comes to understand that we're not desired, and that all we have is each other, and we apply these commandments and laws, only then can we do these things. We don't. Almost done. Verse 3. Verse 3. Yeah.
Verse 3. Seek
Let me
ye
no,
the Lord.
verse 2. Verse 2. Verse 2. Let's
Verse
finish it
2.
up. Yeah.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the
Meaning
fierce anger of
before destruction comes. This is what he's referring to before destruction comes. Go ahead.
before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Right, destruction comes to this place as it is coming to this place. That's why you got a president feeble and old and weak, because he's the sign of the time. He's the sign of the country's weakness. Go ahead, you know?
Seek ye the Lord,
So that's the first thing. He says, seek ye the Lord. Go ahead.
all ye meek of the earth.
Or ye meek of the earth, that'll be us, meek of the earth, this guy,
which have wrought his judgment.
which commit works, perform works in his judgment, his commandments, go ahead.
Seek righteousness.
Seek righteousness, go ahead.
Seek meekness.
This means submit
It,
yourself to the Lord, go ahead.
it may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
So, for example, I gotta tell a story. There was one time, I'll be quick, I'm gonna let my plan after this. Me and my brothers, we were all together at a gathering, a family gathering, a whole bunch of us. And a brother, he's driving his car, and the cop pulls him over for no reason, pulls him over. And we were all in the hotel, so the hotel had balconies, like a bunch of balconies. You could stand outside and talk. So we're all out there, all dressed in uniform, wearing the same thing all together in this gathering. So the cop pulls him over, gets out of the car, and the brother's in the car, and the cop's talking to him, and he looks up, and he sees all these brothers standing there watching him. And he goes, who are those guys? And the guy says to him, those are my brothers. He gave him his license and said, you have a nice day, sir, and drove off. Now, why am I saying that? Because when they see us organized and they see us together, they tend to think twice. But as long as we're divided and we're not together and there's issues, things of that nature, we're not applying these laws and commandments, they're going to continue doing these things over and over and over again. So the what now is coming together. But the end result is them being destroyed. And just like your books, just like your profile, I used to read a book that says, what if white people were slaves? That's actually biblical. That's going to happen. So that's the end result, really. So I'm not playing.
Okay, let me interject. The me saying that Kevin Samuels was a distraction, I wasn't referring at all to what he spoke on, the things that he did while he was here.
Right.
That's not why I was saying he was a distraction. I called him a distraction because, and it's not him, it's actually his death. The fact that it's being played up against what happened today.
Yeah, I agree with
That's
that.
the only reason I call it
Definitely, right.
okay.
Definitely, yes.
Okay. The challenge that we have today is not Kevin Samuels. Okay. It isn't even, I go back to Donald Trump. It isn't that. It's the fact that this continues to be perpetuated against us, period. And I appreciate the different comments and the different references and all the other type of stuff. I truly do. At the same instant, it's not I'm a person that's gotten tired of talking about it. It's figuring out an intelligent way to really begin to address it. Every person on here, from what I can see in the room, most of the people in here are of color. Most are black. So every last one of us in here can talk about the black experience. The challenge is they don't appreciate that. And I'm not saying every white person, but many of them just don't appreciate it because they can't understand it. They don't understand that when we walk into an elevator, we see them move over. When we get stopped,
Indy,
yeah.
Indy, hey, you kicking a lot. I like what you're saying, but look, they know how we feel. They don't want to, you know, they don't want to look at us. Trust me, all these years, they know how we feel. They just don't want us to know that, because then if they say, okay, we know how y'all feel, now they got to hold themselves accountable now. You feel me? Like now they can't continue to do it. You feel me?
What's funny is
I'm sorry.
What's interesting is that he brought up my book, What If White People Were Slaves? The reason I wrote that is because they don't want to, like the whole thing with critical race theory, they do not want to, if they could erase our history and slavery, they would. If they could erase it out of every lesson.
I was going to say that. I was just going to say that. I was just going to bring that up.
They would do
I was just going to bring that up. So
but see, part of the reason I even wrote that was because I wanted them to be able to see in there. It talks about them being slaves. It talks about them being beat down, being killed. All of that is in there. It's roots in reverse. And the feedback I've gotten from white people, many of them appreciate it, but I've gotten threats for my life. I've gotten all types of hate DMs and hate mail. The challenge that they have is that they don't. From one side, you don't want to talk about it. From the other side, don't put me in that position because I'm in this position. I should never be put in that position. The bottom line is, it's funny. You all have been. I like how you all have included scriptures, but the scripture that talks about Ephesians 4:14, where it talks about no longer being infant and tossing things back and forth by waves and just going by with anything that's being put out there. The media is controlled by the government. They control the narrative. The beauty of the internet, and I tell everybody this, the beauty of the internet is, I call it, just like right now, the great equalizer. It's time for us to help them understand, help them not, we can't, if you go into therapy, one of the first things that you have to do is address what you've been through, what you've done. This is something that they have attempted not to do. They're running from it. Again, not every last one, but they're running from, and that's something that they shouldn't be allowed to do.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
You have to understand something. In this world, right, there's an hierarchy, and they're on top. For them to address anything, that will prove that they're guilty of their action. That's one. If they're guilty of the action, they have to pay for it. That's two. And three, for them to make everything equal, feel your pain, that means they will no longer be at the top. And that cannot change. As long as they're at the top, they will run everything. That's what the mass shooter was mostly implying about, or saying in his manifesto, is that blacks are multiplying and whites are dying. Blacks are taking over everything. They're using a lot of resources and stuff.
We're replacers.
Yes,
And we're
exactly. So that's
high fertility rate people. High fertility rate people, he said too.
yep. So like what you're saying, it sounds good. Like it sounds like that would be the solution, but we have to face reality. The reality is they don't want to change that. We have to accept that.
No, they don't want to change it. That's obvious. I don't think anybody in the room would dispute that. They don't want it. And again, I believe
Yes. So there you go. So since they don't want to change it, what do we do next? Because remember,
I agree.
you asked that question, and he brought the answer out. He read the scripture. Did you hear what the scripture said?
What specifically are you referring to in what was read?
When he was
as far as the solution.
Yeah, and you said after your question was, what do we do next? And he brought the scripture that says, "Gather together, O nation not desired." We're a nation that's not desired, right? Because after so many years, we're still complaining about people who hate us to love us. Like we're still asking people to hate us to love us. That doesn't make sense. So the solution is to gather together. Now, Kevin Samuel was telling the black men and the black women to gather together, work in unison, work together. Women, submit to your husband. The husband, the man, make sure you be the provider. Don't be a bum. Now, if we don't gather together, if we can't even gather together and the foundation of a household, because that's the foundation of a household, foundation of a nation. If we can't even gather together on that, what do you think the biggest problem is?
I don't. Now that part I can't dispute. We do need to gather together. That's something that we do need to do. And when we gather together, going back to what I was saying earlier, I don't think it should be a lot of going back and forth as far as what I believe it should be about creating a solution. That's why I appreciate the platform.
Good.
I appreciate it, but at the same instant, as we're studying the state of things, I believe that not only do we need to get together, but in the process of that, recognizing that people say that I don't know if it was you or someone else said that they know what they're doing. I have news for you. I speak to these people all the time. A lot of them. There was a woman that came into my room. A white woman came into my room.
Make it, because after that we're gonna go to Sebastian.
I will. A white woman came into my room. Her husband was black. He goes to the bank to withdraw a large amount of money. He can't do it. They call her at home trying to figure out why. She gets enraged because they're doing this because he's black. She recognizes that. She admits she never would have even knew that type of stuff, wouldn't even believe that type of stuff was going on. She went up to the bank and threw a fit. He actually was calm. But she never would have even known that that type of stuff goes on if it wasn't for the fact that she was married to a black man. I heard this story over and over again. I think, again, it's not just about us getting together. I do believe that is a major part, but I also believe it's about educating. It's about putting the truth back out there to many of the white folks that are out there. Outside of that, I yield the mic. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, all praise. Hey, before we go on, Pentecost, the thing is, the confusion lies because we all human, and why they don't understand. You got to understand, God made them a certain way. That's their way. Get that in Habakkuk. Is it 2 and 4 about upright? But no, I tell you what. Before you get that, get Second Maccabees 1 and 27. I'm gonna stay on there first, real quick. Like we got together, but I also got to show you God made these people that way. God made us to be above all people. We don't know that. So the reason why these things happening to us is because we broke God's laws or we continue to break God's laws. And they are used for a punishment towards us. But we don't know that because the churches don't teach the Bible, because guess who set the churches up? The oppressors set the churches up. They gave us this religion stuff. God never gave us religion. So now we trapped. So now when we see these things happen, we kind of confused because we're like, dang, well, I go to work with them every day, this and that, but we don't know the intricate details on how and why we were made and why and how they were made. So that's where the confusion come in, but the Bible clears all that up. But first we got to come together, like he was saying. I'm gonna test that too, and then I pass it. But read that real quick.
Second Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 27. Gathered those together that are scattered from us. Deliver them that serve among the heathen.
We are scattered. Are you familiar with the transatlantic slave trade, Indy? I'm quite sure. I'm just, I'm just rhetorical question. Indy, are you familiar with the transatlantic slave trade?
Yeah, I am. That was me.
Okay, now. Okay. Now watch it. It said, read that again.
Second Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 27. Gather those together that are scattered from us.
Stop. So it said, gather those together that are scattered. Now get Deuteronomy 26 there. I'm going to have to test this a little bit, and then we'll pass. I don't want to hold it up, but I got to, because you have a lot of sense. You know what's going on, but you haven't figured, you got the pieces there, but you ain't placed them in the right spot to understand the whole overall view. It's like you right there. And I'm just going to bring a couple of scriptures to try to paint it real quick. Now watch this. Read Deuteronomy 28:6 there.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So it said the Lord was going to bring us into Egypt again. Are you familiar what was going on in Egypt with Moses and the Egyptians? What was going on? What was going on, if you mind?
Are you referring to them being slaves? Or are you referring to them leaving?
Right, both. Being enslaved in both, right? So we was enslaved in Egypt, right? So it said the Lord said he's gonna bring us back into Egypt again. Egypt is going into slavery or bondage again. So we had already left. Now Moses is prophesying again, like you're gonna go back into Egypt, meaning slavery. And when you go further into the Bible lets you know this is Egypt, but this is spiritual Egypt and Babylon. This place that we in now is the same thing. Now watch this. Continue to read.
Again, with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Ships with an S. That's the transatlantic slave trade. Moses was letting us know that's the history that the churches don't teach. That's the history that's been hidden from us. That's why they didn't want us to read nor write. They was cutting our arms off, cut our hand off. If we was caught reading, it wasn't that they just didn't want us to read a book. No, they didn't want us to read the Bible. They didn't want us to tap back into who we really are, to understand that Christ looked just like us, not like what they told us and gave us an image in slavery. No, they want us to read for ourselves. Be like, wait a minute, Christ is a black man. Hair of wool, feet of brass, burnt. That's us. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, they said we was gonna go into slavery again with ships. That's the transatlantic slave trade right there. Ships back and forth, right? So if he's referring way back then, prophesying that this was gonna happen to a people, and then you look at it now, that's us. That happened to us. So that let you know that that's our history. Moses was referring to us. Those are our people. That's our bloodline. We are the Israelites. Now watch this. Keep reading.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Come on.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for
Stop.
bondmen.
So stop. That's what it said we shall be what?
Ye shall be
And there.
sold unto your enemies.
Now that's the problem. Because it's telling us right there, we shall be sold. Now, if we came over here on ships is correct, and they were selling us nigga sold from Master Charles in Tennessee for $10, sold in Alabama, sold in Florida, sold in Arkansas. If this happened to us, but it said we was gonna be sold unto our enemies. That's what we haven't failed to realize. For some reason, the reason why, because Christianity have messed us up to think that when they say love thy enemies, they talking about everybody. No, when they talk about love thy enemies, it's talking about us loving each other. Because we don't want to hate each other. We don't want to form gangs against each other, red and blue, killing each other. You know what I'm saying? It's for us to govern ourselves, because when that was said, love thy enemies, that was in Leviticus. We were speaking amongst ourselves. He didn't love the enemies when we killed the Philistines, when he had David go crazy on the Philistines, go crazy on the Jebusites, go crazy on all these people that was around us. They wasn't loving them. It was talking about us how to govern ourselves. He gave us a playbook on how to live and to govern ourselves. So now, but this scripture right here said we was gonna be sold unto our enemies. They show you that they are our enemies every single day. We just water it down and we tend to turn a blind eye until something big like this happened when they killed 10 of us. But they do it on red line is still going on. They do it on the high interest rates when you go into a bank or when you go try to get a loan. They do it on everything. They still doing it. It's systematically in high places still going on. You know what I'm saying? But we ignore that. Well, what about the Black Wall Street, the bombing of that? We ain't do none of them. We say, look, I bet you don't want us around us. We don't want to be around y'all. We're going to handle our own business. We're going to handle our own business. Have airports, banks, doctors, lawyers, have our own society where our money keep rotating until we're about 15, 20 times, and then it go outside of us to go to them. But, we had our own thing set up. But guess what? They bombed that. And not the count many times that folks have been lynched, hung, all these things. They show us on a daily. The Bible is a true book, but we yet to understand it. Now watch this, Kiri.
Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So bond men and bond women, maybe the slave men and slave women. So our women got to realize too, y'all was on the auction block just like we was on the auction block. We came into slavery together. We supposed to be getting out together. You don't supposed to be talking about, oh, you independent, you don't need a man, I'm this, I'm that. That ain't your spirit. Your spirit was just like ours on the slave blocks getting sold. We was begging to go together. They was like, hell no, I'm taking you to Tennessee and you going to Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? You beg to try to stay together. We beg to try to stay together then, but now since the oppressor to open up avenues on, because they know their plan is to elevate the woman above us in status, in jobs, and these things, and finances. They know that it continue to keep a wedge in us. And like E brought out, it's evident now. We can see it when Kevin Samuel died. Our sisters laughing. I mean, our sisters celebrate, and the white man sit back laughing like they still divided. So now, is that it on the scripture? Then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna pass it, man. I couldn't just leave that out, not informing you. Like, look, they are our enemies. Now, do that mean we gotta go do something against them? No, the Lord is fighting our battles for us. But what we got to do is keep God's commandments so He can come fight for us. Now, go back to Second Maccabees 1 and 27. So now we got to come back. Come on.
2 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 27. gather those together that are scattered from us.
So now that's
Deliver
what he's
them,
telling us to gather. Now we got to gather together, and what else?
deliver them that serve among the heathen.
You see that? So we deliver us, we still serving among these heathen. We make this country flourish. If it weren't for us, you take us out of this country would have been dead. We make this country thrive. How they barely paying us, and we'll see minimum wage. And you know we messed up in the brain because we'll go to a job and say, "Hey, how much your minimum wage is?" And then they say, "Okay, $15." That's the minimum wage. Why we never say, "What's your max wage?" We need to go see your max wage. If I'm gonna work, what's your max? Man, we be like, "Okay, minimum wage, I take that." Like, but that minimum wage meaning what? They business still gonna flourish due to their numbers, how they got it plugged in. They still finna get rich off the minimum. Cause they just pay us crumbs. You know what I'm saying? That ain't what they can afford to pay us. They just pay us the least. You know what I'm saying? So we messed up in a lot of ways because we break God's laws. But now watch this. Go ahead, read, finish that.
Deliver them that serve among the heathen. Look upon them that are despised and abhorred.
So
And
we
let
are
the
despised. They despise us. They despise us and they hate us. Like I said, they despise us and hate us. Come on.
and let the heathen know that thou art our God.
So we got to let the heathens know that the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is our God. They don't know that. We don't know that. Therefore, we still confused. So I end it right there. We can go. I can go on and on, but due to the time, I'm gonna pass. Go ahead.
Thank you, hey Delta, Indy. Good stuff, good stuff. Thanks for the contribution, Indy. And thanks for that breakdown, Delta and E. All right, let's plug the room real quick, and then we're gonna continue. So this is another night of biblical smoke. If you have any questions as far as finding out learning institutions or finding out any learning material, just send us an email at biblicalsmoke@gmail.com. That's what's pinned at the top of the room. Also, don't forget to hashtag biblical smoke on your Twitter, and also make sure you share the link on your different social media platforms. All right, we're going to continue with the queue. Thanks again, Indy. We're going to go to Sebastian. Hey, Sebastian, what's your thoughts so far? It's some heavy stuff that's been brought out about gathering together. Are you opposed to that? I mean, what? So what do you get from the conversation that's been coming out so far?
All right, for this, well, first of all, peace and blessings to everybody. Shalom.
Appreciate you.
I won't be long, but I just want to say that I do believe that Kevin Samuels gets too much credit. I think there's a false narrative, like he's some messiah or something. Like he has a lot of people idolizing him, and it ain't right. I personally know that this stuff has been talked about forever. You brothers are on the streets, and you're giving this type of truth and this reality bold face to these people, and you guys don't get no love at all. So, I commend you. I show my mother, I show people that I love, females, and they're saying, yeah, these guys are the real deal. Not somebody hiding behind a keyboard, hiding on a damn monitor talking, and
It's
with this phony bravado. And
Sebastian, I have a
go
quick
ahead.
question for you. Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
sir.
I have a quick question for you. So, with Kevin Samuel, so you made a statement that it with and pertain to him being idolized. Now, my question to you was he wrong, or the people that's idolizing him wrong? That's my question.
Well, he wanted to be idolized. He's the Godfather and all this other stuff. So he wanted to be exalted, because he is an egomaniac. So everybody's wrong. He's wrong, and those that worship him and exalt him is wrong.
Okay, interesting point. So he, I never actually ever heard him say that he wanted to be an idol, but that's when you get into the limelight, you do want you want a certain attention. So Very interesting point, Sebastian. We going go ahead,
I
Delvin.
wasn't done.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask the brother, like, what about like all these celebrities, actors? They get idolized all the time, and but you can take for instance like rappers. They degrade sisters every song, but they idolize. And if they die, do you think they'll get the same uh, response as Kevin Samuel?
Some of them. I mean, you got hood rappers I never heard of, and you go to their cities, and they're like the big
So
dog,
so
you
wait
know.
wait wait
So
wait
you
so
know,
wait. You said some of them. So wait. So you telling me if Lil Durk die or just say Nipsey Hussle, like okay, is he not being idolized? Do you think people not idolizing him, or even not just him per se to point out, but like I said, any of these rappers that if they die, you telling me like sisters gonna be making videos, pastors gonna be making sermons and all this stuff about this man. If Lil Durk them die, like I ain't even seen. Man, you just made me think of something now. For me even saying it, I haven't even seen pastors speak bad about rappers as far as an individual that died, as for after he died and stuff like that. Now they may make a sermon about rappers, whatever, music, whatever. But I'm talking about personal singing a person out and making a whole sermon about a rapper. I haven't even seen that, but I seen that due to a man. Let me ask you this: what message do you disagree with him on? Let me just start there.
well, I think he disagreed with his own message. He dropped the ball talking to Brittany Renner. He dropped the ball talking to Nicki Minaj. He was not consistent.
I,
You know, I understand that.
I said, what message?
So he
Just
wasn't
tell me
even.
what. No. Just tell. I feel what you said. Well, I'm saying, what message do? What don't you disagree? I mean, excuse me. What do you disagree about his message on?
All right, so I'll keep it simple. When he said that Hispanic or Latino women are the enemy of black women, that was bad to say that.
Okay, I will agree with that. Go ahead. What you got? What else?
Um, well, he also said that he said black men. No. Let me take that back. He said well, he said that for a black man to women should go after high valued men, and I say, well, that's true, but what about being a man of value? I would say that would mean a man of morality, a man of moral principle. You know, he never talked about that. He never even told brothers how to go about getting money. He never had tutorials, any type of
You, you, he was getting on the brothers for
literacy or
2-3
none of
years
that.
straight, right? You know he was getting on the brothers 2-3 years straight, right? You seen
Yeah,
those
but get
videos before he started dealing with the sisters, before he started dealing with the women. He was getting on the brothers, and he was also he was putting gems out there about the brothers, but he was correcting the brothers as well.
I'll tell you what I do
Hey,
know.
So
Sebastian,
I
do you
know
have them? Do you have the
do I have
videos
them.
to get?
I
Yeah.
I don't disclose too much about myself. I'm within my right to not, especially on this platform. But I do other things outside of this. But let me just say this: he is not original in thought. Kevin Samuels comes from the red pill. Now I don't know about you guys, but this is nothing new. So he just took things from other people. I don't want to say no names, but it's a lot of people that's been doing this. He's new to everyone outside of that. So he's like the unofficial face and voice for this stuff. But we had Patrice O'Neal. You know, we've had. Yeah.
All right, whether he said it, then somebody picked it up after him or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. If somebody was saying something before him about it, but he's picked it up, okay, fine. If I say, "Hey, women, marry a black man," and then I die, and then the next man pick it up, say, "Hey, sisters, marry black man." I mean, okay, what's the fault? I'm still lost.
All right. So here's the thing, right? The only thing that matters is what the Bible says, and I'm sure you guys would agree. So at the end of the day, you're not teaching women to deal with men based off morality. He's superficial and everything. I'm not saying I believe that you can get abundance. You can go out here and work hard and you can treasures and but the Bible does say lay up not upon these things because they rust, fade and rot and all that other stuff. So it tells you in the book of Ecclesiasticus, right? The chief, was it 29 and 21? The chief thing for life is
Hold
water
on,
and bread.
Sebastian.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, Lingo will read, but before he pulls that particular precept, I want to ask. It sound. I mean, and get me if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like I guess you're not a fan. I'm gonna assume that you're not a fan of Kevin Samuel, or let's even change this. Uh, you do not agree with the message that Kevin Samuel gave. Was that a fair assessment?
I ate the meat and spit the bones out. I just think that it wasn't enough edible meat. That's all I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, he was lying about a lot of things. And I mean, if you're going to lie about having a degree, an engineering degree, what else are you going to lie about? You know, he said he was an engineer. He never graduated from the University of Oklahoma. He lied about that. Then he said that he was what
Oh,
he said about his
oh,
marriage. His daughter just made a video about him not even being around. He made a
okay,
woman
let
a
me ask you
single
this.
mother.
So,
Go ahead.
do he deserve to be celebrated because he died?
No, he should not be celebrated. No.
I'm saying I'm celebrated that he died and everybody doing this and that because you got rappers lie every day. That's what I'm trying to show you is what's the difference between these other people that lie every
I'm
day
sorry.
and they degrade
I left by
intentionally.
mistake. That wasn't intentional.
You said what now?
I hit the button by mistake. I just came back. I didn't.
Oh, okay. No, no. What I'm saying is, you got brothers lie intentionally every day in a rap song. How many brother they been killed in a rap song? You got brothers lie all the time, but they'll be idolized. Shake it, baby, shake it, twerk, twerk, twerk. And then if they die, then you have these same sisters that was bombing on Kevin Samuels. They'll be crying. You don't see a problem there?
I see a problem. Only thing I will say, like I said at the beginning, I respect you brothers more so because you guys are the real deal. Unsung heroes. And at the end of the day, our people, they're going to praise wicked people anyway. What's that verse in Jeremiah where it says, curse are those that condemn the just and uplift the wicked. I forget. I know it's something in Jeremiah, I think it's 17, 15. But it talks about that. So that's going to happen. That's our people. But if you go into those scriptures, you don't have to have someone like Kevin Samuels or anybody like that because the Bible tells you these women that go up there and talk.
Yeah, we didn't. I'm not saying I believe in his morals because I don't know the man personally, but I respect the man because he was trying to. He got off his behind trying to help our people. Look, marry each other, be realistic with sisters, be real. Like sister, you been vain as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like brother, you been vain as hell. Like get a job. You know what I'm saying? Better yourself. Like I respect him in that aspect. No different from like I brought up earlier. I don't know if he was on. Like you had the Panthers, you had Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, uh, you had Nat Turner. You had different leaders went about it different ways. They had different methods, but at the end of the day, they still were trying to do something to better their people. So I think that's what I'm
Can I
trying to
ask you
say
a
as far as the
question though?
message.
Can I ask you a
Hold on.
question? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah, you can. But that's what I'm saying as far as I'm not comparing him to those people, of course, because those are those are men you can't be compared to this day. But I'm just saying, as far as the brother was trying the best that he had with what he had. You understand what I'm saying? Like I ain't agree with his morals. I don't know his moral. I don't know his lifestyle. You feel me? But I just know he was getting on sisters which need to be getting. They need to get on, and corrected brothers who need to be corrected, and telling sisters to marry a black man. So that's what I'm standing on that. But
But I say
that's it.
that's why I celebrate you brothers and commend you brothers because you
Okay,
guys are
no doubt,
out
no
here
doubt,
you
no
guys are
doubt,
the real deal.
no
Like
doubt, no
he's
doubt.
behind a keyboard and he's behind a
I feel
monitor.
you. I feel you.
He's
You right.
phony.
I got you
So
on
I
that
just want
aspect.
to ask you something. I just want to say
Hey, one second, Sebastian.
this.
Just want to welcome
Go ahead.
Ayo. Hey, what's going on, Ayo? Shalom.
Hey,
Shalom,
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 shalom.
shalom.
I've been listening for a minute, and I think we're getting off topic of what the discussion is. So I just want to say one thing about Kevin Samuels, and then we can move on. The only reason why we're discussing Kevin Samuels is because for a long time, the voice of a black man concerning how the woman was conducting herself was not being heard. Let me repeat it again. The only reason why we're speaking about Kevin Samuels is for a long time the treatment of how the woman was concerning the black man was not being heard. When Kevin Samuels hit social media, his voice was magnified. He started getting a lot of views. A lot of people started listening to him because of the way he interacted with the black woman in general and pointed out her faults. If he never did that on social media so we could see it with our own eyes and hear it, and come with points, we would not be discussing him. He was getting on black men long before he switched to black women, and he
3
wasn't
years.
popular. I never knew about him.
For 3
I
years.
found out about him when he started to uh, statistically use uh, uh, proof and interact with the woman so we could see with our own eyes the faults of the black woman. Now, as far as his lifestyle, his belief in God or what he was doing, nobody never cared about that because we were not looking for him as a man of God. But what we did gravitate to was his points concerning the discrepancies and misconception of the black woman being put on a pedestal and society and the powers that be glorifying them and keeping them that way. Prior to him speaking, y'all look at the black woman for her fat ass, her big titties, her long hair, her wig, her eyelashes. You spend all your money on her. You glorify. Even the Bible says that men have gone out of their wits for a woman. So what Kevin Samuels did when he came into social media was he grounded that bullshit, and that's why he's known now. Because there was never ever any social media presence anywhere attacking the woman so hard and making points that they couldn't argue back. So that's why they glorified his death. So we're not saying, as far as God, that his concept was right, but his approach with his statistics and his interaction that we watch him on TV, on YouTube or social media live, that was effective. And that's why the black women hate him, and that's why he's being spoken about now. It has nothing to do with his lifestyle, his money, or where his belief was in God. So nobody could dispute that prior to him engaging black women in such a manner where he brought them down to a place where you're not looking at them differently, y'all would not be talking about him because no rapper wasn't doing it, no politician wasn't doing it, your mama wasn't doing it, the church wasn't doing it. They were putting them up and making them the victim. And even the Bible explains now, Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22. Let's look at what God says. And this is why, from a biblical perspective, men can identify with what Kevin Samuels was saying.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
The daughter was the nation of Israel, and they were backsliding. They were moving away from God. And this was the punishment of them moving away from God. Read on.
For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
So we're seeing that as a part of our punishment from our disconnect from God. The black woman, and I'm not talking about the other races. I don't see none of the other races, their women trying to dominate them. I see this from my perspective as a black man. The black woman is in a place where she compassed the man. And what Kevin Samuels did was point out and bring us back to reality that the place that she is mystical in her mind and supported by the powers that be, the lying black Christian church and other social media units where you got to watch what you say. She's the queen. The Bible don't speak about black women being a queen, and the Bible speaks about them being in a certain place with God for us to move as a unit and work together in the eyes of God. But God said out of his own Bible that a time was going to come when they compass us. So when Kevin Samuels brought into perspective that her titties and her ass and her OnlyFans page it does not make her, does not put her where she's supposed to be. We're looking at her wrong. So Kevin Samuels brought into focus how to look at her. Whether he was righteous or not, I don't care. Whether he had money or not, I don't care. Whether he was liked by them, I don't care. But the points that he made that put him in social media, that made his name a household name, was pointing out the flaws and the inconsistencies and the lies and things that are being pushed that make them feel that they have power that they don't have. I mute my mic.
I have one question. This is one for you. So, what is your take on Tommy Sotomayor, if you're familiar with him?
Tommy Sotomayor was doing the same thing, but he didn't get as much publicity as Kevin Samuels did. I was watching Tommy Sotomayor for a long time, but Tommy Sotomayor didn't bring them down, bring the woman on his show and pull as much views as Kevin Samuels did repeatedly. Okay, where people knew him for that, for checking the black woman and putting it in her place. Tommy Sotomayor was the first, but as I said before, we only know of Kevin Samuels because of his delivery and his style and his growth in social media that made him a household name.
There you have it. Hey,
So,
thank
so, so
you.
let's move on from him and let's stick to the
Yep,
topic at
yep,
hand.
yep.
A devil just went into a supermarket and executed people for the color of their skin. And most of our people are gonna go on with life like it's just an isolated incident. And this is the point that I'm trying to make here to change the tone of the discussion. Society is telling us that that was the past. Things have changed now. You had a black president. Look at your black athletes. Look at your ball players. Look at this black millionaires. There's black CEOs. You get to live in certain neighborhoods now. No, things have not changed because it's not the majority of white people. Okay, it's that small group that's carrying that hatred that can still govern our lives. Okay, I can't say with absolute certainty every single white person hate me because I don't know every single white person, but I know a handful of white people, like they were saying before, which most of you have no clue who they are. That 1% that they were arguing about, and also not to take us in a different direction, the Illuminati, the secret societies, those small percentage of white people control the lives of blacks everywhere on the face of the planet because they have an agenda that's against us that only God showed us. That there's hatred embedded in them that only God can deal with. So when you see things, how could an 18-year-old kid, somebody had to be grooming him from 18 to say, one day I'm going to come with a rifle. I'm going to drive hours away to a supermarket and indiscriminately target black people and shoot them down. I don't care if it's a mother. I don't care if it's a daughter. I don't care if it's a grandmother. I'm just going to blow them away. That should be the point of contention right now, where people should be mad that what will make white, you don't hear about that with black people. When was the last time we heard somebody Google it? Somebody go and look. Well, white man did, the last I remember was Colin Ferguson. And that was, I think, in the 80s, where he shot up the Long Island Railroad and he explained because of some racism he was going on with his boss, he lost it. But other than that, where do you hear about stuff like this to this capacity? And why does it keep happening? It's some young kid, okay, getting an assault weapon. Then the media defends him. The media says he didn't do nothing wrong. The media starts to put a brand or a name on why he did it, and he didn't mean to do it, and he was a good kid, and we eat it up. We had Trayvon Martin, the same thing. Okay, everybody looked like, yo, this guy was going to go to jail. But when the media stepped in, when the lawyers stepped in, when law enforcement stepped in, they said that he was defending himself against an innocent black man that was going through the neighborhood. And if y'all keep up with this foolishness with blinders on, this guy that shot up that supermarket, the same thing is going to happen again. He's going to get a slap on the wrist, and y'all just going to be walking around in fear. That's what y'all got to be looking at. Why is this still happening today? Is there a solution for it? What can we do about it instead of just being sitting ducks and targets? I mute my mic.
Heavy point, and this is a good way to reset the room. So as you see that Ao has come in and brought some very good points, and very good talking points. A matter of fact, Salat Soila, what's your thoughts on what was just said stated by Ao?
Um, well, I agree. I think what I was saying earlier, that the irony is that what happened, we don't even pay attention to it, and it's very, very serious. It's in the Bible that these people hate us, and they get away with it. They hide their hands like they didn't do anything, and they keep getting away with it. So I think God is just choosing his elect, and whoever sees the truth will see it.
Okay, Craig. Well, how about you?
What's good, y'all? What's going on? Yeah, man, this definitely a heavy topic. As you know, as far as like the white people go, I don't know. I honestly don't really know how to feel like, cause like there's white people, right, that do racist stuff, right, and like the shooting that we've seen, right, and it's messed up that they do that, right? Because I don't know, that kind of like leaves a bad taste in our mouth for like the other white people, and I kind of feel bad at the same time for those white people that actually are not racist. So I don't know. I've just been really thinking about the good white people. You know what I mean? The ones that weren't racist, or the ones that aren't or never have been. You know what I mean? So, the shooting.
So,
I mean, actually, no. I'm gonna transition to Kevin Samuels. So,
hold on, 1 second. I want to touch that point real quick that you said. So you think that there actually is like there's difference of good white people versus bad white people or white
yeah,
people versus
yeah,
honest people. Can you
Hey,
elaborate?
hold on.
yeah. I mean,
Before we even go there, I want to say, hey, hold on.
just a very
I just want to,
basic. I just 5 seconds, just really basic.
yeah,
What I'm
go
saying
ahead.
is, there's good white people and there's bad white people that need to repent. That's all that means.
Hey, I just want to know why we never ask like, dang, what about the family that that's gonna be missing their people when go to the market, see they grandma just got gunned down.
Yeah,
I
man,
feel
it's
bad for them.
sad.
Why we never? Well, I know our minds don't go there. Why our minds just go to I
Oh
feel
no, my
sad
mind did
for
go
the
there
other
for
white
sure. The
people.
first.
Listen. My mind just feel bad for the the other good white people out there. We just had 10 black people got gunned down for no reason at all by a white dude that intentionally aimed out black people, but our mind will automatically go to it's just sad for the other white people.
No. So definitely, that's a great question. So no, my mind definitely didn't immediately go there. I've been marinating on a topic for a good while, for a couple hours now, and I just wanted to bring it a different perspective. You know what I mean? It definitely is tragic, that happened, and it's very sad. Nobody should be gunned down, but at the end of the day, right? We still gotta act, in love, and we still gotta, give forgiveness. You know what I mean? Just as God has forgiven us, right? If you've accepted the Lord Jesus Christ, and so I don't know. I just wanted to bring a different perspective. Just I guess I don't know. I know some of us it's harder to forgive than others, but I don't know. I just wanted to come from a perspective of like, you know what I mean? How how can we like how can we be solutions based? You know what I mean? What good can come out of this to where we can unite together? You know what I mean? So
Hey,
I don't
it,
know if that was
it,
a
Hold
good
on, hold
time
it,
on,
to bring that
hold
up,
on, hold on,
but I
hold
did
on,
want
hold
to
on,
just I don't
Hey,
know, bring
Craig,
a
1 second.
point in time to
hold on.
talk about
Craig, 1 second.
solutions.
1 second.
I hate when y'all come with, what can we do to unite? And we watch Martin Luther King try harder than any black man on the face of the planet try to unite. He led peaceful marches. He went to the white leaders. He sat down in the restaurants. And did anybody say, hey, this guy has the right idea to unite? Let's follow him. That's why you black people now that's talking about, let's find a way to unite. You telling me that Martin Luther King's message of peace and nonviolence wasn't the best example by a black person ever? And now with all the hostility that they're still putting forth to us towards to this day, you're gonna disregard Martin Luther King and all the other civil rights leaders that tried to come to some agreement with them and come with that same bullshit. We need to find a way to unite so they can stick dogs on us and set our houses on fire and burn crosses against us. Y'all didn't watch that happen over and over. Y'all didn't see what happened with Dylan Roof, where black people let their guard down and let this man come into their church to pray. And when they closed their eyes, he put bullets in men, women, and children. This is the problem when you let church people speak with no knowledge of what God says. The Bible says that these people hate us. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with what God say, and I'm gonna
Nah,
do
but
it
hey,
His way.
I think you're misquoting that scripture
So
because
clear me up, clear it
not
up,
not
clear it up.
all white
Since I'm
people hate
misquoting,
all
clear it
black
up.
people. That's not what it is, bro.
Clear it up. You said I'm
I just
misquoting.
did.
Clear
I
it up.
said not all white people hate all black people.
Listen, I just said to you, if you've been listening, okay, I didn't say all. I said the ones that have power are the ones that matter. I'm not worried about all. Because the ones that have power, they could change things. And we saw since Martin Luther King, they ain't changing a damn thing. We still getting blown away. We still getting shot up. No laws are being put in place to stop it or restrict it or to show us that they're on our side and they see what's being done to us and they're tired of the injustices. Let me make it clear again. I
I
don't know
agree with
all
that.
white people. I don't know all white people, but I know that there's a group of white people in power that's allowing these things to take place and pushing these things so that the evil white people who do feel that way get a slap on the wrist and there's no consequences.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. There definitely should be
So
consequences,
if you agree,
for
what's your plan? Don't tell me to go and sit down with them. What's your plan?
no. What I'm saying, what I'm letting
You
you
said
know is
that we
I
can unite.
definitely
So I'm
do
telling
agree.
you, if you
Right
agree
there's
with the points that I
you gonna
made,
speak over
with
me?
me,
I'll just
huh?
go down to
Now,
the audience,
listen,
bro.
we don't
You
want to
gonna
waste
continue to
everybody's
speak over me? All right,
Go
I'll
ahead,
just
you
go
got
down
the
to the
floor.
audience,
You
bro.
got
Don't
the floor.
worry about it.
You have the floor. Go ahead.
He
Okay.
ain't want to be up here no
Listen,
way.
listen, listen, follow me. He's gonna do what every person that come here with that bullshit we should all unite should say. They ain't gonna give you no answer because you can't stop that hatred. He was a child, 18 years old, and somebody put it in his head, or some environment was in him. Don't tell me he just turned crazy and decided to do it. Something is going on in his head to say, I'm gonna put myself with heavy body armor. And I'm gonna drive far to a place where I know there's black people and start putting bullets in them. Okay, when they didn't do nothing to him. Same thing with Dylan Roof. Nobody did nothing to him. But you're gonna have the people that come with that Christian bullshit and talk about, oh, we have to find a way to unite. We ain't been gunning them down and hunting them down. We didn't drag them here on slave ships. We don't pass no law. We don't pass no legislation. We don't have nobody in the UN. We don't have no voice. So you're gonna don't let no dumb Christian or no black person with no knowledge, no history, with no historical basis to show that this is systematic, a white supremacy being pushed on us, and there's nothing we could do about it except wait for the next killing to say the same bullshit he's saying. I mute my mic.
Elder, I have a question for you, Elder. I have a sincere question. What does Jeremiah 15 and 11 mean? If that is, and I'm just asking because I really want to know.
Hold on, before you answer that question, hey, I wanted to know: are you capable of forgiving the white man? And no, I'm not trolling y'all. I'm being so serious. Are you capable of forgiving? And I honestly feel like that's a great question. I, I, I'm speaking for me. I don't know about everybody else on the panel. Go to Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Let's see if God forgives. Let's see if God forgives, like you just said, because we're made in His image, and I'm going to answer you with His word, because this is a biblical based room. So we're made in His image, and I'm going to answer you with His word.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people,
So God is speaking to the Israelites to come out of the ways of this society, of this world. Read on.
that ye be not partakers of her sins."
Because there's a lot of sin going on. And even God says there's only one way to fix the sin and the injustices that are going on, which is this. Read on.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
Because God is going to plague this society and the leaders of this society that allow the injustices to take place with no consequences. Read on.
For her sins have reached unto heaven,
God said that her sins are affecting the heavens. He's tired of what's going on the earth. It's affecting the heavens. Read on.
and God hath remembered her iniquities.
So God is the greatest example of forgiveness, but He remembers the sins that have been done. So what does He say to do to that? Read on.
Reward her, even as she rewarded you.
So that's how I view what's going on this earth. I don't have the power to reward nobody no more. But I know that God says a reward is coming, a punishment is coming, a payback is coming for the injustices being done on this earth that His people cannot fix. So that's my answer to you. Read on.
And double unto her double according to her works.
So God does not say, hey, look, just turn your back and forget about it. They killed your mother. They raped your sister. They shot this person. Don't worry about it. Just forget. This is prophecy. This is what's going to happen. And man can't change this. Read on.
In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double.
So that's what I'm waiting on, because I don't have the power to change nothing. And I'm not trying to unite with nobody that hate me. I don't walk around saying I'm hating white people. And I don't look at anybody or mistreat anybody for the color of their skin. But that's what's happening to me and my people. I mute my mic.
Okay. So I mean that sounded clear to me. Craig, hopefully you caught everything AO said, and do you understand everything that he just gave to you?
Oh, for sure. I definitely understand his perspective now. I was reading along with the scriptures.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Kevin for right now. What's going on, Kevin?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You've been hearing the dialogue, AO, Craig, and some of the other thoughts that came out on the platform. And the title itself is thought provoking. So what's your thoughts on this topic? Do you see some discrepancies? Do you see anything that's wrong with this picture?
Well, I mean, as far as Kevin Samuels goes, like I know that the truth comes from all angles, just like lies do. You know, like these devils throw lies at us from all angles, the ones that we don't see, ones we can see, and the truth it comes at us the same way. Just like Christ, he didn't go to the glamorous places and talk to simple people. Like Christ was in the trenches talking to people in pain, so the truth gonna come many ways. So I feel that I feel that way about Kevin Samuels. I agree with a lot of the things that he said, although like AO said, I don't know his stance on the Bible and his belief in God and everything like that, but his works is trying to get, as far as trying to get the brothers and sisters together. I definitely dig it.
Now let's
And I don't understand why a lot of people
try to, like unite with white people and forgive everything. And no matter how nice you are to them, they show you the same face. So
Yeah.
I don't get that part. I don't get that.
Hey,
Like, so I know that they are spiritually evil. You know what I mean?
hey,
And it's not all. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
hey, Kevin. Hey. I'm on that point. What you said on countless occasions, I've heard questions posed to the quote unquote white man or white woman, and they said, "Would you forgive this person?" They said, "Hell to the no," right? But
Uh huh.
we have the mind where we want to forgive. Why you think that is?
I honestly don't know. I got a lot of family like that. They just want to sweep stuff under the rug and live all honky dory when it's not like that. Like, things have to take place, and it's going to get worse in order for things to get better. And people don't want to face that. You know what I mean? It's like they want to like it's not a word, but they want to like kind of like Christmasify everything and make everything all soft and pretty and easy, and that's not life. And that's not our life.
Hey,
No, I
hey,
agree.
you said some heavy points. It's the religion. I'm telling you, it's the religion that make us talking about forgive them over and over and over again because they misconstrue the scripture about love their enemy. Love thy
Right,
enemy is going into us loving each other. The laws
right.
was given to the children of Israel. It wasn't given to the damn Canaanites, the Jebusites to love each other. That was given. Moses gave that to us. You feel me? So now what? Now since the white man grabbed that book and just said that slave obey your master, and then now you get in the church and say, hey, you ought to forgive me now, boy. I just raped your wife last night. You know what the Bible say, don't you? You want to get to heaven, don't you? And now it just passed on. That's all it is. Because if your wife cheat on you 1,000 times, are you gonna? What is your forgiveness to her?
There is
Matter
not.
of
I mean,
fact, I
I,
want. Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
have
yeah.
to
What?
forgive her, as far as me and the Most High goes, but I cannot take her back.
Right, right. My point. Like, you ain't finna sit down talking about we finna make this happen. We finna come together. Let's all kumbaya. Hell no, kick rocks, so that's
Right.
what I'm gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? Get the hell,
Yeah.
you know, get the hell on down. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I I mean, mean, let me make a point that you have to stick to when people start pushing forgiveness. The type of forgiveness that the world has embedded into black people was given from white Christian views. Let me repeat it again and then back it up. The type of forgiveness that black people have embedded in them came from white Christian views, because when they took the Bible away from us, which was our records, and we were speaking about forgiveness, God gave those instructions to us as a people. He was upset at the mistreatment of us as a people. So I need somebody, some Bible scholar, to show me where in the Bible does God say to forgive the other nations. Because to my accounts of what I read, he constantly keeps saying that he's going to punish them. He's going to punish them over and over. So if there's some scholar on here that could give me any scripture where God says to pardon the behavior of the other nations, I'll retract everything I say. Okay, but like you were just saying before I interrupted you, we have to keep in context was when forgiveness was being spoken. It was to the 12 tribes of Israel because they were mistreating each other. There's Hmm. nowhere anywhere in the Bible, from the book of Genesis to the book of Revelation, where God says that the forgiveness gets extended to the other nations, because everything in prophecy says they are going to pay. I mute my mic.
Hey, and I want to double down on that. Watch this. Get Deuteronomy 4:44, proving who the Bible was given to, who these laws was given to as a people. It wasn't given to the Egyptians or Canaanites or Esau. None of that. That was given to our people. Let's show you what I'm talking about. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 44. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel.
You see that? You see that, Kevin? It was given to the children of Israel. That the problem is the oppressors never told us that we was the Israelite. Of course, they're not gonna
Right.
tell us that. You feel me? They're not gonna tell us that we the Israelite, we God chosen people. You know that this is our
Hey,
record book.
hey. To your point, not only did they not tell us that we was the Israelites, they beat it out of us. You read all
Mm-hmm.
through the Bible that when they enslaved us, they renamed us and changed us. God warned us that we would be a byword. They would never identify us as the children of God. And they're fighting us this day when we rise up and say we are the children of God. They're calling us liars. They're calling us racist. They're telling us we're stupid. They're calling us dumb, you black Hebrew Israelites. And there was never no such thing as another race of Israelites but black people.
Mm-hmm.
You got the floor. Go ahead, finish your point.
Right. So
Brothers, I'm sorry, my bad.
go ahead, go ahead. Let me finish this
No,
verse real quick, and then you can get the floor back. Finish this,
okay.
you get the floor back. Go ahead.
Verse 45. These are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Moses spake unto the children of Israel.
So there we go. The children of Israel. Now get Leviticus 19 and verse 17. And then I'm gonna pass it to the brother, letting you know, like, look, yeah, of course we can't believe our enemies. So that's one of the main reasons now today that we be like, oh, let's forgive them. Oh, let's forgive them. And they ain't got us nowhere.
Nowhere.
Nowhere at all. Nowhere at all. Now watch this. Read what you got.
Leviticus chapter 9.
Leviticus 19.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
So now that's going into the children of Israel. He's not speaking that to the Philistines. He just have us go murder them. You feel me? We had to kick these folks behind, kill these folks, put them to death and their gods. You feel me? So that one referring to them. They ain't referring to nobody. So now Christianity come in and make you think this talk about love everybody, my brother. Forgive them. No, forgive your brother, because guess what? When we don't forgive our brother, what happened? What happened to us in the street when we don't forgive our brother, Kevin?
Oh, when we don't forgive our brother, we either die, kill each other, or we end up in prison.
There you go. So he had to put that in place so we don't do that. So we don't be a detriment to our nation. You know, put that law in there. Don't y'all do that. He gonna give us instruction on how to rectify the situation. Because we the ones, when we get mad at each other, we kill each other fast, quick, in a hurry. But when it come to other folks, come to other nations, we ain't, like what's his Trayvon Martin killer, damn, what's his dude name?
Zimmerman.
Yeah, Zimmerman. Zimmerman still walking around signing autographs. Well, all the hits at on him? What the hits at that we put on each other in the streets? What the hell the hit at on him? Not
I
saying that
say
to
the
do
same
anything.
thing.
Not saying that. We're not saying we didn't want to
Right.
advocate about it, but just showing you the reality example of he's still walking around signing autographs. You feel
Yeah,
me?
if we can have
Like,
that energy for each other, where's that for him?
right,
Hey,
exactly. But they let you know,
I'm
like these
sorry.
laws
I'm
with the
sorry.
governor. Go ahead, Harold.
Real quick, room. Are we on YouTube? Because I just got hit up saying that they can't find the link on there. Are we on YouTube?
I'll check with the guys that normally do it, and see what's going on.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Right, so
What's
we had
the
that same energy. Now watch, I'm gonna finish that scripture and I'm gonna give it back to you so you can get everything out because you made some good points. Now watch this, finish that out. Leviticus 19, you sleep reader, where you at?
No, sir.
Or
Thou
you on
shalt
mute?
not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
So that's how the Lord told us how we're supposed to govern ourselves. So if I see an error on you, I'm supposed to be like, hey, bro, we weren't supposed to do that. According to the law, we weren't supposed to do that. So that's how we actually supposed to love our brother. But now we can't even say that to our people. You know what I'm saying? Without you can't say, for instance, Kevin Samuel. He was trying to correct sisters. They don't want to be corrected. You know what I'm saying? They don't want no
right?
correction. So I said, keep reading.
Verse
Come on,
19,
read. You might be on mute.
18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
You see that? Against the children of thy people. You shall not bear any grudge or try to get some payback, some revenge. Because that's what we normally do. We get revenge. You do something to me, I'm going to do something to you. But the Lord told us we weren't supposed to roll like that. And read verse 1 just showing you that was talking to the children of Israel, that I'm going to pass you the floor.
Verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel.
So there you go, Kevin. That's who that was referring to. So I mute my mic. Go ahead.
No, I was like when I first came into the truth, it was about 8 years ago, and it was a brother, a coworker of mine. Um, and when he first brought it to me, my question to him was, "Well, what about them? What about everybody else, the other races?" And I'm not sure the verse that he pulled out, but it was saying, "Regard them unto spittle, or like a drop of water from a bucket." Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15. Start with 14, I believe.
Hey, Lingo, you got it?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket.
I'm sorry.
Not,
Start 2 verses up. I want to make a point.
verse 13. Who hath directed the Spirit of the Lord?
Meaning, ain't nobody telling me nothing. I'm God. God is not going with man's opinions. So the question is, who has directed his spirit? Read on.
Or being his counselor hath taught him?
Who sat with God and said, God, you should do it this way or think this way concerning the nations? Read on.
With whom took he counsel?
So what he's doing before he makes a statement is saying, this is what I affirm by myself as God. Read on.
And who instructed him? And taught him in the path of judgment?
Okay, because it's speaking about judgment, which is what we're talking about tonight. Okay, judgment must go out for what took place, not how can we work with them so they stop killing us, because it's in their spirit. It's in their spirit to do these things. We've been showing love. We've been showing examples of love. We've been trying to get into politics. We've been trying to get into jobs. We've been trying to get into entertainment. We've been trying to get into sports. We've been showing a lot of love. Okay, we've been showing more love than any other nation on this planet, and all we keep getting reminders is that you black. Read on.
And taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance.
So God is giving the analogy that the nations are insignificant concerning their thoughts on how God interacts with them. If you have a bucket and a tiny drop falls out, God says that's what they're like. Okay, and a small what? Read it again.
And are counted as the small dust of the balance.
You can't weigh a speck of dust on a scale. If you get a scale and you put a small piece of dust, the scale is not going to move. The balance is the scale. Read on.
Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing.
So God is saying that the opinions and the judgment of the other nations are insignificant. Read on.
And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the
Meaning,
beast.
if you was to burn up everything in Lebanon for a sacrifice, because the God requires, and God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob requires animal sacrifice and burnt offerings. Even the beasts, read on,
Nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering.
they would not be sufficient as a sacrifice when it comes to judgment. God has a specific way that he wants the nations that have portrayed atrocities on his people to be judged. And that's why he said, nobody's going to counsel with me. Nobody's going to sit down. Nobody's going to instruct my spirit. I have a specific way I want things executed. So the reason why we're seeing these things happening to us now is because most of you black people, you disagree with God. You don't believe that his way is the right way. So you're going to say what has been embedded into you as slaves. Just forgive them. Let's sit down. There's good ones. Let's see if there's a way that we can work things out. After history, after history, after generation, after 400 years plus now, you're still saying the same old song that was taught to you when you were broken in slavery. So you're good slaves now with bad ideas. I mute my mic.
Yep. So Kevin, you hopefully you caught that. Now, there's a couple different points, real quick. At one point is that what Delta was going into, and just something that Skyline, you could feel free to respond to this, but that we regard the feelings of the ones that kill us, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about the brothers that go into our neighborhoods and sell drugs to our people, there's no regard there. You see a contrast of love for one people and a hate to your own people, and it's a very interesting point, and I want y'all to keep this in mind too. Isaiah 55:5 really quick, because this goes to what Ao was bringing out as well. Read that for me.
Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 5. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because of the Lord thy God, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee.
That's, that is what I want, but I wanted something else. But with that point that I'm wanted to bring out, Skyline, what's up with the hatred with our people, against our own people, but the love for the other nation? Ao.
Hey, let me give you another example. We had a man sitting in his own apartment, eating food on his own table and watching TV, and a white cop kicks open his door, blows him away without giving him a chance, without checking nothing, and then says, I made a mistake. Then it goes before a judge, and the jury convict that everything she did was wrong. It went against police protocol. You killed this innocent man in his home. And what does the black family do? They ask to hug her. The black judge gives her a Bible. The black court officer is rubbing her hair, comforting her, instead of upset that this is a constant cycle of violence always being portrayed to us. Y'all forgot Gotham John family already? Where the brother comes there after his brother was blown away for the color of his skin, sitting in his apartment, and the treatment that that woman got, and he begged for mercy. This is what's been going on, and it all came from that mindset that was put into us when we were slaves. Okay, this is what's going on, and this is why you got people who watch 10 people get executed, 13 shot, 10 executed. In the video, he apologized to the white people he shot. I heard it, I saw the video. He hit 2 white people by accident, and he said sorry to them. He had nigger written on his rifle. He had, this is your reparations. And nobody's looking at that. All they do when they come into the room, well, let's not forget there's good white people. And let's not be mad at all what. That's not the point. We don't. The good ones are not making life easier for us. It's the small few that hate our guts that have us in fear, and it's making things a dangerous atmosphere for us. Where we still got to watch what neighborhoods we move into. Where we still got to worry about being mistreated on the job. Where we got to worry about the way we speak. We got to adjust our tone. We can't walk. We can't wear a hoodie. I mute my mic.
So what's your thoughts, Skyline, of what you've been hearing so far?
Oh yes, definitely strategically. Big shots I taught the moderators. I mean, everything that you're saying is very, very true. I want to connect to something that AO said when it came to just the whole murdering aspect. I think the baby did a video. I think a lot of people didn't realize that video that came out with him and Lil Wayne, and he was in like a psychiatric hospital, and basically they were saying like you can use the murder for therapy, you know, especially when it comes to the culture. You know, it really runs deep. You know, that's what they want young kids to do out here. Young kids are doing that at the 9 to 5 now. Like you got kids that like they'll murder. Like they put on their Instagram story like, you know, you need anybody hit up, let me know. Like, you know, you got close friends and stuff, but it's running deep now, bro. Like murder for hire is real to the point where it's transparent now. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, like the video game. Like people are literally dying off like that. So it's serious. It's serious to the point where it's kind of like, you know, um, what I can say about the Kevin Samuels connecting point. A lot of people, I don't know if AO, and a lot of other moderators been seeing it, a lot of people are trying to speak on Kevin Samuels' behalf. I know the media is trying to overshadow with a lot of bad controversy, but I guess I think that the following that Kevin did have is overshadowing because you know what I'm saying. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff about Kevin on Instagram, and I'm seeing a lot of hatred or just a lot of questioning. You know, just to keep people, you know, just keeping it going on. But I like it was about 3 people I seen on Instagram today that got a tattoo of Kevin. Not saying that you're supposed to get a tattoo of him, but he just got a lot of support. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of support. So I definitely will say that. But when it just comes to the killing, it's getting out of hand. Like, and I'm familiar with the Houston space. You know, I'm familiar with the Atlanta space, and you know, it's yeah, people literally it's going down. So, but I want people to really check out that video with the baby and Lil Wayne. With the baby said that you want to make the news, you want to go viral, you want to be able to change your life overnight, do a controversial murder. Basically, that's what he was saying in the video, and get famous. Make it a scene. You know, so when you get in that interrogation room, those people, that's how they gonna sit you down. Hey man, why did you do it? Man, you're strong, you're powerful, you're brave. That's what they want. You know, Trump even said it in his rally. We putting these people behind limos, we putting these people behind cars. They have murderers working for them. Think about it. If somebody gets all these people hit up in the hood and the cops find out about it 28 years later, you don't think they don't want them on their team? You're dangerous, bro. I want you with us. And the only way you're going to get out of here is if you run with us. You're as strong as us. You're as powerful as us. We want you on our government team. That's why they make informants. You know what I'm saying? Everybody pray for Thug and them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going through a lot. But yeah, I digress my mic.
Yeah, we appreciate your input, Skyline. We appreciate your input. Let's see. We pretty much rounded up our queue. Let's throw out let's go throw out Zechariah 11:5 real quick. Just want to put this out there, something to think about. Let's put this out there real quick.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11.
Yeah, I want to touch that point too. I want to touch that point. I'm just unloading right now, but I want to touch the point. I'm gonna come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and
So,
hold themselves
so we got
not.
to think. We have to think about this. Who is possessing us? Where did we come from? Did we come here by choice, or did we come here by force? And we've been in this land by force, and guess what? We're being possessed. You have to think about cattle and all the different and how we are treated here in this land. All right, want y'all to keep that in your mind. Keep reading.
And hold themselves not guilty.
What? Hold themselves not guilty. How many times have we heard the non-guilty verdict given from the legal system, the courts, and how many times the plea has been not guilty? I'm mentally this mental issue I have. My brain is not fully developed. I mean, you you had all that the thought to premeditate the plan. Hey, you had enough thought to even write on the damn gun these different things. He that was no dummy. It sounded like he knew what the hell he was doing. But hey, keep going.
And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
for I am rich.
Mm-hmm.
And their own shepherds pity them not.
You see, oh gosh, that right there is even heavy. Now, before I hit that part, think about it. For I am rich, just like Ao was alluding to earlier, the ones that can actually influence and change things, that's who we run to try to get justice. And guess what? They're the one that's putting a stamp of not guilty on the person that just killed your brother or your sister. Read that last part, and there.
and their own shepherds pity them not.
Look at that. Who's just like Ao brought out, who actually usually what people default to, and Delta said it, is the good white people out there. What the hell? It's 10 people just lost their family, a family member. I mean, 10 people just got killed, and now their fathers, brothers, sisters, cousins, all that just got removed from the family off of a act of hatred and a proof that someone, a nation of people hate your guts. Hey, I want to just put that point out there, Delta. Delta, you said you want to put something on that. He's still loading. Any other moderator want to add until Delta gets back? AOEUZL or King? All right, hey Skyline, what you think about what I just read?
No, I was gonna
Or what?
connect. I had a question for you real quick. I was gonna say so, like, cause I want people to understand. So, pretty much, if it's not a blessing, it's got to be a curse. Correct, Yosef?
I'm listening. I'm listening.
So I'm just saying. I'm asking that. Pretty much out here, like, people just be like, we kind of like to say, oh, I'm going with the flow, but if we're doing things the way y'all teach the room and stuff like that in a biblical manner, a biblical manner, you should have results. So if it's not a blessing, then it's a curse, right? If it's not God, it's I. It's kind of like it's no in between.
I'm trying to feel where you go, where you're trying to get to.
I'm asking just in general. Like there's no
There,
in
there,
between. You know
there
how people
is
try
a
to say
there,
it's a maybe or just you can go to this side. No, it's if you're not being blessed, then you're cursed. That's basically what I'm trying to ask.
yeah. You are now. I'm going to tell you something. There is. I'm going to explain what a blessing is and what a curse is
Okay,
real
correct.
quick. So there, the curses of I think you've been in the room before. You have Deuteronomy 28, right, 15 through 68, which outlines the curses. From 1 to 14, it goes into the blessings, right? So it gives two different choices, right? Two different choices. You obey my laws, you get blessings. If you disregard my laws and disobey my laws, now you get curses, right? So I'm going to just give two different examples, and then we can move from there. All right. So let's go. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, and let's go to 48 real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
You see that?
Which the
Hold on. Is that a now that right there off the break sounds like something that's wrong, right? Like you're serving your enemies, right? Someone that the enemy is not someone that's a good person, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that means they're going to take advantage. They're gonna abuse you, right? All right. Let's keep going.
which the Lord shall send against thee.
So these were this is what the Most High God said He was going to send against us because we broke His laws. Read.
In hunger.
In hunger. So we want to be reliant and dependent on these people that are our enemies for the food that we consume. Read.
And in thirst.
In thirst. So we're going to be dependent on it for water as well. Something that falls free from the sky. We got to pay for. Read.
And in nakedness.
In nakedness. So the clothing that we put on our bodies is going to say made in China by Ping Li or whatever the name is on that tag. Read.
And in want of all things.
And you're going to be dependent on these people that are your enemy for all things. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Here's the signification of abuse. Read.
Until he have destroyed thee.
So we're destroyed in the sense where we don't have unity, right? So that right there is a blatant example of a curse, right? Now let's go to verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Mm-hmm.
to observe and to do all his commandments which I
Uh-huh.
commanded thee this day,
Uh-huh.
that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Check this out. So we had an example of being cursed earlier, right? That right there, that you're definitely below if you're serving somebody, right? Now you have the complete opposite here. It says that we will be above all people. So you see the contrast. So that's the two. So into hopefully that answers your question. So as far as biblical wise, when we talk about blessings and curses, the curse is that we're not in our rulership and we're not in our power. And we could have been in rulership and power if we were obedient to his laws. Does that kind of that's going along what you were asking me, Skyline?
Yes, sir. That was perfect strategically. So I want to say one more thing. So when it comes to somebody that's saying, say for instance, somebody's out here and they pray every day, they do what they need to do, and they live their life kind of like in Dominican Republic and kind of just take care of them and their kids and just kind of like read the Bible every day and just chill and they stay out the way. So they'll be like, "Hey, I'm infinitely blessed." Would that be considered a blessed person and somebody out here that's, you see what I'm saying? Like, just I want to break it down because
So
just just go ahead. Yeah.
So look, I'm going to tell you this. This is when we know we're blessed. Right here, right here. I'm going to give you two scriptures, and this is how you're going to know that you're blessed. Right. Let's go to Luke 1 and 68, and then we're going to jump to Revelations 2. But let's get this real quick.
Luke chapter 1 and verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people.
So until the Messiah comes back, we're not blessed at all. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not blessed to see your people getting killed every day, harassed when you're going out to the store. That none of this shit is good. You can't. Hey, I'm going to tell you
That's
right
what I was
now.
basically trying to get to you the whole
So
time. It's like what is
yeah,
blessed and what is cursed now. It's basically
yeah,
that's the ultimate. You basically broke it down. That's the ultimate thing is basically waiting until judgment day and different things of that nature. Right. But yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
yes, sir, yes, sir. When Christ comes back and put us back where we were, you have to think about this. Look, the apostles, the at the time in Acts 2. Let's just get that real quick. Is it Acts 1 and 6, or I'm trying to remember. What's that? Acts, when they were asking Christ when will we get turned back to power again? Hold on. That's Acts. Open that up.
1 and 6.
Yeah, 1 and 6. Thank you. Get that real quick.
The book of Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
This was always the question. It was always the question, just like what you're asking right now. When we will be blessed? This is the same thing that they had. Like when we gonna get out of this situation? When we gonna be in a position of rulership again? Because this shit suck. That's pretty much what it's saying. This is some bullshit. That's what's going on right now. This is the same thing, the same spirit that's going on right now. We see something wrong. We see we're being abused. How do we change this situation? But let's go back to the point that I had. And we, the only way to do it is keeping God's commandments and us coming together, just like what was brought out before in Zephaniah 2 and 1. That's the way we get back into our rulership, by gathering together under God's laws. All right, not under Islam, not under Buddhism, not under any other religion, but under God's laws. All right, let's go back to Luke 1 and 68 again.
Luke chapter 1 and verse 68.
Uh-huh.
Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people.
Okay, and he's going to redeem those same people that's asking, when will we return the power again, Christ? Go ahead.
And hath raised up an horn of salvation for us, and the house of his servant David.
So guess what? That it was only that promise of restoration was only given to the house of David. And who are the house of David? That's the children of Jacob. All right, that's Israel. Read.
As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets,
Uh-huh.
which have been since the world began.
Uh-huh. So
That we,
this is never changed. This is never changed. It's always been the same. And guess what? This whole Bible, this whole entire Bible, guess what? It's all about the children of Israel. It's all about you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that are getting choked out, that's getting shot in the street, that's getting abused and harassed. It's all about you all. All right? Keep reading.
that we should be saved from our enemies.
You see that? Those same enemies that we brought out in Deuteronomy 28 and 48. The same enemies. We're going to be saved from the food that we have to eat, the defiled bread that we've been getting from the people that oppress us. You know, the water that we got to pay for. We're going to be free from all of that burden. We're going to be free from the being destroyed after the chains was getting off our neck. We're going to know, we're not going to walk around in fear like from a shaking of a leaf anymore. We're not going to be in that kind of spirit no more. We're going to stand up as rulers of the nation of Israel and of the world. Read.
And from the hand of all that hate us.
See, hey, we are hated people. And what did it say in Zephaniah 2:1? That we are despised. And this is saying that we're going to be taken from those people's hands. And guess what? We're going to be redeemed as a nation of people. And we're going to be governing this whole world righteously and under God's laws. That's when we're going to be blessed. When we are ruling with the, the rod of iron that Christ is going to come with. All right, read.
To perform the mercy promised to our fathers.
That was a mercy that was promised unto us. The mercy, because we didn't have to have that mercy. But guess what? The Most High God, He is not like a man where He lies. He said that He was going to give us this, and if we earn it. And guess what we're going to do? If we are sensible, if we're going to use our brains, we're going to do this. Here's how we become blessed. One more thing to help us get blessed. Let's get, before we get Revelations 2, let's go to Revelations 1. And this is
Bring it
what
out. Bring it out.
this is what we have to do in order for us to be blessed. There's instructions. All right, get that. Revelations 1 and 1.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things
Go to
which
2.
must.
Go to 2. Go to 2.
Verse
Oh, well,
2.
3. 3.
Verse 3.
Get to the point.
Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy.
What? Blessed be those that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. What's being brought out by AO, Delta, E, all the moderators that you see on this platform? Guess what? Guess what it's supposed to do? You're supposed to be blessed by hearing that you have this promise unto you that you're going to be out this captivity one day. Read.
And keep those things which are written therein.
Now, hold on. Let's keep those things that's written therein. Let's jump to no, finish that out and then jump to Revelations 2 and 25.
For
That's
the
the finisher
time
point.
is at hand.
For the time is at hand. Guess what? The clock is ticking on you Negroes to turn from being Negroes to being Israelites, God's chosen people. Tick tock, tick tock. Let's go to it.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come.
What we just said. What did we just say? We keep those things that are written therein. How do you keep something? Read that again.
Verse 25. But that which ye have already, hold fast till I come.
all the words that's being given to you, and get the understanding that's being made plain to you. You're supposed to hold those things to the end. Those are God's laws. And then guess what? You will be redeemed like it was promised in Luke 1. Read.
And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end,
Uh-huh.
to him will I give power over the nations.
No more will you be hunt down in the streets. No more will your steps be traced. No more will you get shot down. No more will you get harassed. No more will you be paycheck to paycheck. No more will you be in these different situations that we're in today as a people, being despised and hated and have the enemies rule over you. No longer those days will ever exist again. Because guess what? You are being obedient to God's laws. So guess what he's going to do? Give you what he promised you in Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14. Finish that out.
And he
27.
shall rule them with a rod of iron.
What did we say? A rod of iron. So it's not going to be by some gentle, Mr. White Man, can you be nice to me? No, it's not going to be that way. We're going to beat some ass if you out of line. That's it. Read.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers.
You see that? We're not going to look. The
They don't
afflictions
care
that
about that
we have
fuck shit.
received. Guess what? Justfully so, they will
This will
get
kick
their
rocks,
afflictions
man.
too if they are
For
out
real.
of order. Mute your mic. Finish that out.
Even as I received of my Father.
So the same power that the Most High has given to his son, the same power will be given unto us to help govern this world. But hopefully that made sense. But that's where our blessing is. And if we read and give attendance to reading, like it says in 1 Timothy 4, that's where our blessing is going to come from, by being obedient to God's laws. All right? All right, Scholar?
No, that's money. That's everything. Is love. It's just crazy to me how when, we get the new house, so we get the new Rollie or the new Range. We take a trip to Cabos. We be like, I'm so blessed. God keep blessing me. So
You know why?
go ahead,
That, that,
Delta. You do your thing.
yeah, that's because we equate material gain as blessings. Get that's no different from what the pastors do or what the
Yes,
pastors
sir.
teach. They brainwash us to think that the materialistic things is really of God. Watch this. Get Psalm 73 and 12. And then we want to get back on the topic of Floyd thing. And I just want to touch that. Then we can get back on the topic because it's a damn shame that this white dude can go in here and just murder our people, and then they try to dress it up already.
Psalms chapter 73 and verse 12. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches.
So there you go, right there. Read that again.
Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world.
So they prosper. So they hold on. So they prosper in the world. They get these rap contracts. You may think these folks blessed or whatever. No, that ain't no blessing to be spewing evil, hatred, murder, sex, drugs out of your mouth, and then you say it's blessed at the same time. You can't be a scripper on the scripper pole popping it, and then you talking about you blessed. Remember went around. I think some years ago, sisters was praying, holding their hand, praying, and they in the script club. They scribble. They naked damn now. G screens on, and they pray, talking about who you pray. Like, no, man, this world is way out
Delta,
of
that you
bounds,
so
man.
right. It was a TikTok where a girl, she was like, "Come on, girls," and they was blessing the pole with sage. That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, you right.
Guess who their God is though? That's Satan right there. They in the world. You trying to get these worldly gains. Watch this. Keep reading. Now read that again.
Verse 12. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Verily, I have cleansed my heart
Now
in
that's
vain.
good. So they increase in riches. I mean, hell, a porn star can have a big house. I mean, they busting open every a few hours. You know what I'm saying? So that don't mean that they blessed just because they got a material gain. But that's what the word has fooled us. And it's leading with the Christian church to think that materialistic thing is gain. And we also know in Matthew 4, as far as when Satan tempted Christ, he said, "Look, I give you all these things." You feel me? So he can give you all the thing in his word. If you gonna play by his rules in his world, he have no problem with giving you the money or giving you these contracts or giving you these things because you helping him gain all the souls he gonna get. You feel me? So that's where that come from. Now, I'll get back to you, moderators. I'll get back on the topic.
Okay, all right. We're going to reset the room. We have a few more new people on the stage. We looking forward to hearing from you. But first, we're going to plug the room. And those of you that are trying to see this on YouTube on Israelite Social, feel free to check it out. It should be up now, hopefully. And let's go ahead and reset the room. Hashtag Biblical Smoke on Twitter. Make sure that you are also sharing the link on your different social media platforms. And also ping those that follow you in this room. It's a good topic. I know it's late or early, whichever part of the world you in. All I know is dark outside where I'm at. So yeah, so just make sure you share this room. If you have any questions about the information that's coming out on this platform, you may be too scared to come up on stage, or you just want to find out about institutional learning, or get some kind of any kind of study material. We do have it. Just email us at biblicalsmoke@gmail.com. That email address is pinned at the top of the room. Let's go ahead and continue with the queue. We're going to go to Love. Hey, the Skyline, we appreciate you. Now, Love, what you got to contribute towards this topic? How much? Hopefully, you heard a good deal. You kind of see where we're coming from the stage. But we want to hear your opinion. What's your thoughts on the topic? Love, Daddy Love, with the red cell phone case. All right, we're gonna move on, Love. Hopefully, you when we come back, swim back around to you, you be there, or you wake up, or whatever the deal is. Frederick, hey Frederick Weathers Bay, how's it going, sir? Your mic's muted. What's your contribution as far as the title that we have of this room tonight? Frederick, your mic is muted. If you want to know how to unmute your mic, it's in a lower right-hand corner of the app.
Okay, can you hear me, brothers?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. What's going on? What's going on, Frederick?
Oh man, I didn't expect to be brought up so soon. This is surprising, but I can definitely comment. I just kind of what brother A1 was saying, Asaph earlier. You just, man, you can't really trust people, man. You can't trust people. They'll always be against us, man. People who know that. So we have to just get with our own people, man. That's really all I have to say, man. I'm a listener. I've been listening for quite some time. I appreciate the platform that you all have.
We appreciate.
I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I probably never will, man. Even the friendly ones. That's really all I have to say.
And
I like that because most folks say, "Oh, it's some good ones." Okay, look, I look at it like this: you got a bag full of snakes. I ain't trying to figure. If they drop a bag full of snakes in front of me, I ain't trying to figure out which one that don't bite. At the end of the day, all of you snakes, you feel me? I ain't trying to figure out which. Oh, is that the rattlesnake right there? Is that the cobra? I don't give a damn. It's a watermark. I'm just, what I mean. I'm just staying out the way. So that's the same thing with them. Everyone, yeah, all of them snakes. Yeah, but I mean, some of them have more venom than others. That's all that is. At the end of the day, because watch this, get Rebecca 2 and 4. I mean, get Rebecca 2 and 4. You had something. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, you're not going to be digging in the bag. All right, let me pick this one out. Let me pick this one out.
Right. Oh yeah, this the watermark is right here. He don't bite. Hey, get the hell out of here.
Right. Hey man, when do we start knocking off Idumeans, man? Is that an option?
Say that again, now.
Do we get a chance to ever start knocking off Edomites at a large scale?
You said, do we get a chance to knock them off?
Yeah.
No, brother, that ain't our fight. We ain't knocking off nobody. We ain't get down.
Okay, my bad.
No hatred. No none of that. Get that in Corinthians second. I mean, excuse me, Ephesians. Get the one in Ephesians. No, yeah, that ain't our fight. Trust me, the Lord gonna The Lord gonna bring the ransom. The Lord gonna bring the payback. You feel me?
It
It,
infuriates
it,
me,
it,
man.
yeah, I feel you. It makes us mad, but guess what? That's supposed to make you mad to keep God's commandments. You know what I'm saying? That's all that we're responsible for. We ain't responsible for that getting physical or anything like that. When Christ and the angels come back, they gonna handle business. Our job is to handle business down here to make sure we don't get put to death when Christ come back too. Because you know he gonna kill Israelite that's not keeping the commandments, right? You know folks gonna die, right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
2/3
saying?
reprobate people.
Right. So you know,
Yeah.
so we try to make sure we in that 1/3. You feel me? Not the 2/3. We try to
Yes,
make
sir.
sure we keep the commandments. Read that in Ephesians real quick.
Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So that's our job. We prophesy against the spiritual wickedness in high places, like these churches, spiritual wickedness in high places. They all one and the same, working with the government, you know, working with Esau. They ain't our job. Matter of fact, let me show you something real quick. Get Isaiah, I think it's 34. Start at verse 1. Let's show you the payback. How the payback gonna be? Because it ain't us picking up no gun. We can't pick up no gun or do nothing. That ain't
Right.
gonna do nothing but get everybody killed. You feel me?
Yes,
Like
sir.
they ain't gonna do that. Look how they did our brothers. What was that? Fred Hampton in Chicago. Like how they just bust in and kill them in the sleep and stuff like that.
True.
Man, look,
True.
that ain't our war. They drop a bomb on us. You feel me? So that ain't our war. Our war is to battle our lust within. You know, to fix ourselves in that regard. Now watch this. Read what you got.
Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein. The world
So
and
the
all
Lord, so the
things that
Lord
come
said, look,
forth.
so the Lord said, listen up, everybody. I need everybody attention. Lord said, look, I need everybody attention down there. Come on.
The world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all
You see
nations.
that? What the Lord said?
The indignation of the Lord is upon all
So his
nations,
anger is upon all nations. Come on.
and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter.
He said he delivered
Their
them to the
slain
slaughter.
also,
He finna kill. Come on.
their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And all their host shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea.
So there you
And
go, right there. You see what? Hold on. You see what the Lord doing? He's at war. The Lord gonna do that. Him and the angels. So guess what he said? He made this in detail right here. He said the sword gonna come down on Idumea. You know who that is, right? That's Esau, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's coming down. So that's why you can't tell about all nations kumbaya. Hell no. These folks
No.
gotta get judged. Now I ain't talking about you per se. I ain't talking about you. I'm just saying when
Yeah,
people come up on
I,
stage,
I
you
I know
know.
what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Right, watch this. Read.
and upon the people of my curse, to judgment.
So that they're gonna get judged because ain't no judgment going on. Out of all these years, they've been raping, robbing us, castrating us, hanging us from trees, bombing our towns, setting our cities on fire, uh, uh, killing us if we in the bed in our own apartment, get off, kill us if we walk to the store, send our little homeboy to the store with a hoodie on, he get gunned down. Like all this wickedness, the sisters experiment of the what do you call it? The gynecologists, like that's how they know what they know from experiment on our sisters, sticking stuff all up in them with no pain medicine whatsoever. You feel me? Like they folks did so much horrific stuff we can't even imagine. And that just to us, not to us alone, but our Native American brothers, our Hispanic brothers, you know what I'm saying, that was on South America. Like they didn't rape and rob everywhere. So it's only righteous that they got to get justice because we ain't gave it to them. The Native Americans ain't never paid them back. The blacks, we ain't never paid them back. The Hispanics ain't never paid them back. So the Lord don't pay back.
Hey, Delta,
Go ahead.
Delta.
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
no nation on the face of the planet ever paid them back. What about when they dropped the bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima?
Right.
They never got no payback for that. It's not just of the 12 tribes of Israel, of the other nations. That's why it says in the book of Obadiah, thou art greatly despised. Okay, the other nations got beef also. Okay, the Arabs that they've been taking their land and uh, the whole world is sitting back watching. They saying that when they get a chance, they're gonna send hellfire over here. Okay, but I want to show y'all something. I want to show y'all something very important. Anybody that's of the Israelite faith that's talking about anywhere that they want to harm any nationality, race, or creed or culture that goes against God. Okay, this movement is not to pick up weapons. This movement is not for us to embed hatred in anybody because God says vengeance is mine. So I want to put that out there because there's a lot of stupid black Hebrew Israelite groups that see contrary to us, and we have no affiliation with them. We don't believe what they believe. We don't teach what they teach, and we stay separate from them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Also, there's groups that the powers that be made up. Okay, they made a movie. What was that movie where they was mocking the Israelites and they had them in
I
the
forgot it.
apartment
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
forgot.
forgot it.
I'm trying to remember.
and they was talking about death to the white man? We don't believe in that stupid bullshit. Okay, that was fictitious, that was made up, and that was also again to incite people who don't know the Bible to go against God and to create a race war. And we don't want no race war. We want what God wants. We want peace on this earth, and God is going to get it His way. But I want to show y'all something to show you how extreme it is not to go against God when He puts things in place. Go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 13. This is after God just finished judging Cain for killing his brother Abel. Look at the dialogue. This is the first murder we read about in the Bible. This is after God is speaking to Cain for the murder he committed against Abel. Look at this dialogue. Genesis 4, verse 13.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, and verse 13. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
So when he heard the judgment from God, he started complaining. Watch this, read on.
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and
Because
from thy...
he felt he was not going to be safe after he killed his brother. Okay, and this is proof that there wasn't only two people on the face of the planet. For the dumb Christians that believe that Adam and Eve were the only people on the face of the planet. Right here, he's complaining about his safety. His parents didn't do nothing to him, so who was he worried about? The other nations that we read about in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. God didn't just create one man and one woman. He created a multitude of men and a multitude of women, and he said, go forth and multiply. And this is proof right here. If anybody a ignorant Christian try to say it was only Adam and Eve, this is proof that that's not so. Read on.
And from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
Who is he running from? His parents? Why would he be a fugitive and a vagabond? Because he was worried about when word got out that he killed his brother unjustly, that he will be brought to justice. Read on.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
He didn't say if my mother and my father finds me, which were, according to Christians, they were the only two people on the face of the planet, shall kill me. He said, everyone that findeth me, they're going to want to kill me. Because this is the first murder we read about in the Bible. So look what God's reply was. Read on.
Verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
So God did not allow anybody to touch him because God says, vengeance is mine. So for any black Hebrew Israelite listening that's coming with that stupid nigger mindset, oh, let's go get Whitey, we don't subscribe to that. And we don't promote that. We believe that God, and we can substantiate it with scriptures, that he is the one that's going to right the wrongs on this earth. What we teach in this room is for our people to prepare for the second coming of Christ by fixing their houses, fixing their spirit, fixing their communities, and getting their mind right so that they're found in righteousness when the Lord returns. So we ain't we don't advocate any violence against anybody. I mute my mic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for clearing that up for me.
All praise, all praise. All right, we got someone else in the queue. Appreciate you, Frederick. Hang in there. We get back. We're gonna circle back after we hit a few others. And Cam, what's up, Cam Newton? You look a little different than what I've seen, but what's going on, Cam?
What's up, guys? So I've been listening in, and it doesn't really surprise me that Kevin Samuels doesn't. I don't even think he got any coverage at all anywhere. Like he had a good message to a lot of people. He helped a lot of people out, and it was kind of like a hard truth to some, but it helped a lot of people. And then this guy, the mass shooter, everybody, like, there's a lot of people are backing him and stuff like that, but that's not surprising to me because it's always been like that. It's always been like that in the Western, in the white Western nations. Whenever something bad happens to a white country or anything like that, it's always top priority for the whole world. The whole world gets dragged into it. It doesn't matter if you're white or you're black or you're Spanish, Arab, Chinese. It doesn't matter. You're dragged into the Ukraine situation. You're dragged into what's going on to white nations and what's happening, because it's basically like they control the system, and it sucks because it leaves everybody else out. Like whenever something bad happens, like the war in the Middle East, for example, it's so many people died, so many people were killed, and nobody bats an eye. But once something happens in Ukraine, it's all over the news.
Hey, Cam, let me back you on that. Did you see the news report when the news reporters were saying this is not Palestine or one of those Middle Eastern countries? This is blonde-haired, blue-eyed people getting killed. What's the difference between them and them Arab babies, them Arab mothers, those people of Palestine that got blown up in their house that we've been seeing it for years? They just do missile strikes to level whole neighborhoods, and nobody complained. Now, all of a sudden, in Ukraine, you're watching news reporter after news reporter saying that they can't believe their eyes.
Yeah, they came out and said it plain as day in front of everybody on news. Nobody said anything. Nobody said, "Oh, that's kind of like messed up. He shouldn't have said that." Nobody, everybody just kind of ignored it. Like, and these people, they get killed all the time in the Middle East. Nobody bats an eye. But once something happens in Ukraine, it's the whole world has to be involved. The whole entire world, not just white countries. But this brings me back to a point where I remember I saw a photo of a man. He had his finger. He lost his finger when he was about 7 years old. He lost his finger in an accident, and his offspring, his son, was born without that finger. So basically, what happens to your parents and your ancestors, it goes to you. It moves on to you. So when you're oppressed in a country that you think you belong to, you were born in this country, your parents were born here, your grandparents were born here, but your grandparents and parents were treated less than human. Everybody else was treated like a normal person. All the white people were treated like a normal person, but you and your parents and your grandparents were not. That affects you, and you have no idea. You have no. It's already in your psychological brain that you think you're less than them, but you're not. But you do think you are, because that's just how they programmed you. So whatever happens to your ancestors, it carries on to you. Everything that happens to them carries on to you. So if they're oppressed, you're already in a mindset of being oppressed, growing up, and you're born with it. But the thing is, the physical body, that you can't change that. If you lose a finger, if you lose an arm, you can't change that. Your mental aspect is malleable. You can change it, you can improve it, and you can completely turn it around. So, sure, they place the burden on you for absolutely no apparent reason to make you think that you're less or make you think that you're not worthy or they're better than you. But you can change that because your mind is much better, much more powerful than your physical body. And that's all I have to say.
Hey, that was a great analogy, Cam, and I want to add to it to show you that what he's saying is documented in history. When they would take the black slaves, they would get the pregnant women and line them up. Okay, not only to the black slaves, and there's another book called A Short Account of the Destruction of the Indies by Bartolome de las Casas. It's a very small book, very small read. If you go on Google it, you'll see images from that book, atrocities that were done because there were Spanish explorers that were documenting the atrocities that was being done by the white Spaniards. And what they would do with the pregnant woman, they would get them all together and take one pregnant woman and lay her on the floor. They would tie her hands and her feet to the floor so she couldn't get up, spread her legs, and then put food on top of her stomach and let dogs come and eat through her belly and eat the baby. That's just one account. Or they will rip her stomach open, have her standing up and slice her stomach open and let the baby fall to the floor. But the key thing to what Cam was saying, they wanted the other pregnant woman to watch because it would instill fear into the unborn child. Okay, I could give you a lot more stuff from the books that we have. And also with when you read the Willie Lynch letters, it says
That's
my
right.
connection is poor. Can you guys hear my connection?
I can hear you fine.
Yep.
Okay. They kept talking about when you read in the Willie Lynch letters of the necessity to embed fear into the others so that it becomes generational. So what Cam is saying is this documents, this books. I have books, okay, so that they can keep that fear going from generation to generation. And what you people have to understand, although you're physically free today, spiritually you're destroyed. And that happens to any nation that suffered atrocities on a wide scale. And that's why, as I said before, we only person who can right these wrongs is God. You're not going to get guns and overthrow the government. You're not going to come up with, get in office and fix things because things are designed the way so that the people in power stay in power. Okay? I mute my mic.
I mean, these people are miserable, man. Treasure, you see them rich, they have big houses, and they got all these amazing things. But treasure brings misery. Physical stuff is great, but if you're not mentally there and mentally aware of your surroundings and who you are and what your worth is, then you're not living. You're just existing, but you're not actually living.
Great point. Great points. This is good stuff. Yeah, this was another day of biblical smoke. We pretty much hit everyone in the queue. Moderators, do you have anything y'all want to say? I guess before we start to roll into the close.
Hey, like I said, a lot of people are upset and they don't know what to expect. And what we do at this room is we bring answers from the Bible. Y'all may not believe in the Bible, and even if you don't, at least hear what's being said. The scriptures say not to be ignorant of any matter, small or great. Okay? Just think the Bible's been around for centuries. And whether you believe in it or not, it affects our lives to a certain degree. So there's things in the Bible biblically that is showing us what's unfolding on the earth because it's a book of prophecy. So I always tell people of all faiths, all religions, all nationalities, don't come into room to debate and to argue. Come into the room to see if what we're saying is true. Okay? That's the most important thing. And like I said, the scriptures tell you Give me that in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
The book of First Timothy, chapter 3, and verse 1. This is a true saying. If a man
I'm
desire the
sorry. Second Timothy.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
And that's what we're in according to the Bible. We are in the last days because there's documented history in the Bible. That's why they have history. They call it the Middle Ages. Okay? How do they know that there's a middle? Because they're measuring time by the accounts that are unfolding in the Bible. Okay? And the Bible says that in the last days, what's the last days? Before the leaders of this earth get removed by the hand of God, it says things are going to get dangerous. Perilous means dangerous. Dangerous time shall come. Why? Read on.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves,
Because
covet.
men have lost a conscience. You're seeing people doing acts. I'm not going to go and indiscriminately kill a whole bunch of people and not worry about their lives afterwards. You're seeing monsters. You're seeing monsters of all races. You're seeing monsters in the black community. You're seeing monsters in the white community. And the Bible says that this will happen. So for you people to go on with your life like, oh, this is just a sign of the times and this is just the way it is, and you're waiting for things to get better, you're going to die in ignorance. That's why the Bible speaks about the last days and the final days of judgment on this earth. Okay? Christ warned that in the last days, get that with the love of many in Matthew chapter 24. He said a lot of things that if you examine it, he was not lying. Okay, my job is not to convince you that what he said was true. It's your job to examine it and see it for yourself. Okay, we're not like the Christian church that tells you Jesus loves you. We're different from the Christian church because we tell you to examine it for yourself. You got it?
Yes, sir. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound.
Iniquity means sin because sin is so rampant throughout the earth, from the top all the way to the bottom. There's no good leaders on this earth. There's nobody in office that's going to fix things that we could look up to. There's no president that's going to come. You people been voting and marching and looking for Barack Obama came in 2 terms, and your life is worse now than it was before. Some of you can't drive. Some of you can't put food on your table. Some of you are being forced to call a man a woman and a woman a man. Some of you, your kids are making it dangerous in the streets, are making it dangerous in your house. Your husband hates you. Your wife hates you. Relationships are falling apart. More people are alcoholics. More people are on drugs. You're seeing drugs being sold in your community. Okay? And these shootings, the Bible says what? Read it again.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
So these conditions exist because morality is no longer in existence. Okay? Decency and morality and right from wrong is determined by the individual. Okay? And the people in place, it tells you that let me get that real quick. The leaders in place, give me in the book of Psalms, Psalms chapter 94, verse 20.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee?
A throne is the people in power, the leaders in power. Shall the seats of government of sin have fellowship with thee? A question is being asked. Read on.
Which frameth mischief by law.
They write laws and legislations into place so that the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and nothing gets fixed. Why in this day and age, with the brilliant minds, with the money that we have, people still got to move out of neighborhoods? People are still starving. There's still domestic violence. There's still abortion on the rise. There's still gang banging. Gangs took over certain neighborhoods. The police department has failed. They can't control certain. I'm in New York where I'm watching police officers who I know that they're like, look, at the end of the day, I want to get home to my family, and these policies don't work. And it's because these kids are monsters. They're evil, demonic monsters with no conscience. Their parents didn't teach them any morality. They didn't teach them any decency. And now we're starting to see it. That's why the scriptures say in the last days, perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves. Whatever they want to do, they're going to do it. So you people could deny the word of God all you want. The end result is Satan is going to be successful. What is, as it says in Revelation chapter 12, it says he's going to go down with great wrath. He's not a man that knocks on your door that you can see, but there's a spiritual entity that we cannot see that controls evil. And his job is to take as much people with him when he goes down. The destruction that you read of in the book of Revelations, that lake of fire, it's real. It's going to be at the hands of man because the Bible tells you how it's going to come. Men are going to make fire fall from the sky. It's not just going to be simple bombs that they're shooting at the Ukraine. It's eventually going to go nuclear because how long can they keep this up? Before other people say enough. We got to stop this guy. And this guy has a military arsenal that he named Satan. Look it up. Vladimir nicknamed his bombs Satan 2, Satan 1, and Satan 2. The technical name is Sarmat. And he's in prophecy of Gog and Magog. Look at the landmass where they are. Look where they are in Russia. And as the Bible says, in the last days, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be wars and rumors of wars. So although we got this shooting here that's affecting our lives and we're seeing the evil, there's evil men in government that's fighting for control also, that feel that their race should be supreme, should be superior. Okay? And that's what you're seeing taking place. We're seeing it where we live on a small scale, and we're seeing it overseas, where evil leaders are creating a dangerous environment for us, where you can wake up from one day to the next and hear missiles are coming to the United States of America, or whatever land that you're listening to. And what are you going to do about it except die? I mute my mic.
What a to punctuate this room. And I hope hopefully everyone is following and following this room. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Lingo. If Delta, King, and Yo don't have any more to say, or if anyone has any last questions, we're gonna proceed with closing out the room.
Hey, I just want to double down what AO just brought out that fire as far as the hey, we can't do nothing about them nuclears, but make sure you repent and be keeping these commandments wherever you at. So that's all I got to say. Excellent point, AO.
Definitely. Let's bring out Matthew's 26. But just before you do that, we appreciate all y'all that have contributed tonight so far on the stage. And make sure that you are following all the moderators that you see on stage, and those that you may pop up in and out as we get to close the room. We appreciate everyone for coming and joining us for another night in Biblical Smoke. We should be starting a little earlier tomorrow evening, so just make sure you make time for the smoke, and also don't forget, upload God's laws to kick off at 10:30 a.m. this a few hours from now in the morning, and we'll see you there. All right.
So let them know also we got a study guide. If they email us, we'll email them the study guide. And the teachers teach live on YouTube throughout the week.
Yep. Just to double down what AO just said. Yeah, just make sure you shoot an email to biblicalsmoke@gmail.com, and you get access to all that material, study materials, and whatever questions you may have. And you'll be able to check us out on our different classroom settings that we have throughout the course of the week. So thanks for that, Ayo. Let's bring out that script, Lingo.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman hath done, be told for a memorial of her.
Yeah, see, so this is why we read this at the end. Everything is self-explanatory, and we have to have that same spirit where we give to the Most High God and His Son, the same type of effort and willingness to serve. All right, so we appreciate y'all, and we thank y'all for joining us on Biblical Smoke. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Shalom.
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 Just recently learned about this whole that black people actually Israelites and everything. It's not stayed.
No, you heard God. I'm just a messenger. You heard what God said.
They think this is a financial issue, a money issue. They think maybe it's a physical issue, or maybe it's a political issue. But this is a spiritual issue that we deal with.
You chose a bone, and now you're saying you're miserable.
I've just recently learned about this whole that black people actually Israelites and everything. Is not stayed.
Okay, wait, stop. So
The
I hear you, but it doesn't seem like you're hearing.
no, you heard God. I'm just a messenger. You heard what God said.
They think this is a financial issue, a money issue. They think maybe it's a physical issue, or maybe it's a political issue. But this is a spiritual issue that we're dealing with.
You chose a bum, and now you're saying you're miserable for being with a bum that you chose.
Correct. All right. Let's hear the scripture real quick. Go ahead.
I want to learn, so stop that. I'm trying to deal with. I'm trying to build up.
Hey, that we really got on this subject because y'all, I really, because Damn, y'all really just, I'm trying to live my life. Y'all, now y'all making me being held accountable for this